Welcome to the Pro-Black Perspective, where black problems are addressed with black solutions. Your host tonight is the author of the Pro-Black Compendium and Zuberi and the Maroons of Ma'at, the Pan-African Nationalist, Oni. Oni, what are we discussing tonight?
Hotep family. Of course, you're tuning into the Pro-Black Perspective on KWAZ Radio. It is, of course, time to discuss who are the enemies within. And we're again proceeding to this month, the month of March. And the day is, of course, Sunday, March 13th. So you know this is the warship. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you that I'm part of a podcasting network called the KWAZ Radio. And check out these other shows at your leisure.
This is D Webb with the Harsh Reality Podcast, asking you to tune in where we tackle the news of the day that affects our community, only on KWAZ Radio.
Greetings, everyone. This is Koku from the Bitter Medicine Podcast, inviting you to tune in to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
Greetings, fam. Tune in to The Learning Curve with me, the Revolutionary Matron on KWAZ Radio.
You are listening to the Pro-Black Perspective on KWAZ Radio.
All right. So, Kofi's here. He says greetings. Afro Jam's here. He says peace, So we're getting right into it. Today, I didn't give you guys the proverbs today, the quotes today, but it's all good. We're still going to have a nice program. For this first one, I'm just going to preface it with, it is March. You understand? A lot of us, we got to understand that it is March. And what do I mean by it is March? Let's check it out. We're talking about the enemies within, by the way. So if it's March, let's see what the enemies are doing in March. So like I said, it is March. This guy is on his phone. This is Messy Jesse. If y'all don't know about Messy Jesse, he's been, let's say he's been behind Dr. King's death. Look how long this line is. So you got a whole bunch of black folk. Older black folk. This is a generation before us. Or before me, at least. Right? Got a lot of older black folk marching in the streets, closing down the streets, American flag draped around, marching to end white supremacy. I want y'all to realize this. In fact, I just wrote this on Twitter 2 seconds ago, really. Let me see if I can find it, actually. But I want y'all to understand what revolution is. When you understand what revolution is, then you begin to understand that we've been played in America. I sometimes y'all I sound like I'm anti-American, but that's because I was played along with y'all. So the first one is this. It says, don't call yourself a revolutionary unless you are a member of an organization that kills for political change. See, because you could be a part of an organization that kills for economic change. For your economic change, to get yourself better. That's called a gang. But if you're killing for political change, and by political change, I'm talking about the transformation of the state. If you're killing to transform the state, that's when you're a revolutionary. A lot of us call ourselves, and I'll tell you the truth, a lot of us call ourselves revolutionary with no ambition for killing nobody. No ambition, no mission for killing nobody for political change. You understand? So, of course, the caveat is, dismiss anyone calling themselves a revolutionary over the internet. Because if you're trying to do state transformation over the internet, or you announce over the state media that you are in fact indeed engaged in killing other people for state transformation, you done outed the organization. You know what I'm saying? They just gotta. If you really were revolutionary, let's just say, if you really were revolutionary, then you just told on your cadre. Yeah, I know. I almost said comrade, right? Yeah, I'd have been the comrades. But yeah, so the other one, of course, the reason why I tell y'all about America is this. Look, who is surprised that the so-called black revolutionaries we grew up respecting in America are not at all behind this collapsing USA? I tell you, last year, actually, let me continue. It says, you think all the big talk would amount to something today, but they're whining about gas prices and wheat costs, shaking my damn head to believe that I believed. The reason why I even say this is once upon a time, like, I'll be honest with y'all, I'm a practical dude. Practical dude basically means this. If I see y'all ain't doing shit, I ain't sweating you. If I see you ain't doing shit, I ain't sweating, I ain't listening to you. I'm a practical dude. A practical dude is this. Like, for instance, somebody was telling me the other day, oh yeah, this is a video of Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris just embarrassing herself, right? Kamala Harris is embarrassing herself. It was random. But the thing is this. If you do not have another candidate to go against the Democrats, right? If you do not have another... The reality is that Kamala is going to become president either in 2024 or 2028, assuming America lasts that long. That's the reality. If you got nothing... And now people would say to you, hey, man, look, man, I don't vote because I'm a revolutionary. I don't vote because I'm about the revolution. That's all well and good to say, but like I said, even with America collapsing right now, the same people who are telling you, hey, look, man, I'm not going to vote. I don't vote. I don't so forth. I'm revolution. I'm about the revolution. I'm about the revolution. Where they at? Because I pointed out to you guys already. I got articles going back a decade, okay? When you got articles going back a decade, you've heard people a decade ago telling you the same thing, and then a decade later, they telling you the same thing. They're like, yo, man, I'm telling you, I'm a real revolutionary. Make sure you get my DVD. Make sure you get my DVD. Make sure you get my lecture. I'm a real revolutionary. And it's just going to go on. And again, like I said, at the end of the day, you're not even determining who the leadership is. You're not doing nothing. But sitting on your hands waiting for, Russia or China to do something. And even if Russia and China do the collapse, what you going? If you can't handle the gas prices now, if you can't handle the wheat costs now, what makes you think that when all this gets done, all smoke clears, that you gonna be the winner? Because if you were the loser before the smoke cleared, you're the loser after the smoke cleared. Y'all understand that's how battles work. You understand that's how wars work. If you're the loser after the smoke clears. No, sorry. If you were a loser before the smoke clears, nothing happens during the smoke. You understand? You understand? The smoke is just a symbol of an explosion. You understand? So somebody lost, right? There's explosions, somebody lost, but there were losers already. Because there's always losers on this planet, right? And if you are always the loser, if you never engaging in the real, if you're not really killing for political change, then the reality is that when the change happens, the people who killed for it are the people who gonna be in charge. So I'm telling you, y'all be like, hey man, you kind of rough on these Americans, and it's like, yeah, cause I tell you, I told y'all a decade, sitting down a decade. That's my youth. You understand? If y'all think I'm young now, some people think I'm young now. If y'all think I'm young now, imagine when I'm 21, sitting down with not sitting down, but sitting in the audience of Dr. Jeffries and them. You understand? This is serious stuff. You don't just get the word revolutionary out your mouth. That's what Malcolm told y'all. He said get the word revolutionary out your mouth. If you ain't about that bloodshed. And I'm telling you, I mean, this is mostly directed to a lot of the academics, the astutes, as I call them, right? Who will revolutionary you to death. but of course not the not the state. But I'll leave that to myself. Either way, I do want to point out that what's more typical, more usual in these circles is the month March. They marching. And I mean, are we doing better now? Nah, we ain't doing better now. You understand? Afro Jam corrected the spelling of piece, but it's all good. We understand, right? Kofi says, LOL, perfect way to start. It's March. You understand? Lero says, old boot-looking, buck dancing, scratching, shuffling, messy Jesse Jackson. You understand? You know what I'm saying? You know he a Jackson because he could dance, you know? Because he's shucking and jiving. You know he a Jackson. All right. Derek Askew says, defund the police. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm telling you, look, I want y'all to understand, too, this white boy ain't trying to defund his own state. See, the state protects the white man's wealth. That's the reason why you have a state. That's the reason why you want to install a state. See, the trouble with us is that we got so many broke wokes that we don't even understand what the state's for. You know what I mean? If I go down to, when I go to Africa, right? I'm gonna have me a nice looking place. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have a nice looking house. I want that junk protected. I want to protect it even when I'm not there. You know what I mean? Like, even if I go out to another city, I go to another meeting, I want to protect it. When I go to another village or another city, or I go meet with a head of state or something, I want safe passage on my way. You understand? If I when I meet this head of state, I don't want nobody burglarizing me on the way. You know? To some degree, you could imagine, hey, you know what? Maybe people will be safe automatically. You know, people have their needs met. Maybe they'll be safe automatically. That's a good philosophy. You know, but one thing you got to realize about humans is that a lot of what we do is based off of our experiences in the past. You know, Lero says broke words. A lot of what we do is based off of our experiences in the past. You know, a reason why we are speaking right now, the reason why we're communicating right now, is because of the experiences of humans long ago. The reason why we write is for humans long ago. And one thing you're going to realize about, particularly Wazungu, is that he's violent. He's unnecessarily violent. And because he's unnecessarily violent, because some of you carry his genetic memory, you understand? Some of you, but because of that, and not just his genetic memory, but also his intellectual memory. But because of all that, just because of where we are in this world, yeah, ain't nobody gone. Ain't nobody, like I'll tell y'all the truth, man. This white boy got police to protect his wealth. Not even to do with you, right? But to but to protect his wealth from his own people. Because this white boy understands that his people are very violent. You understand? When I talk about revolutionaries, right? I'm not saying that his people are revolutionary because, revolutionaries are a compliment, right? We think it's a compliment. But when I talk about this white boy understands, these white folk will kill them, will gut them. You know? But let's keep going. Afrojack says, I find stooges for Russia and China to be laughable. Them countries don't want to be stooges. Stooges for Russia, they want power and die for it. Stooges for Russia and China to be laughable. Them countries don't want to be stooges. Yeah, I mean, look, Russia and China, that's what I'm saying. Russia and China are, I'll give them their credit. Because they say to themselves, and we're going to go into that, they say to themselves they don't want to be a part of this global order. They don't want to be a part of globalization anymore. They peep the game. They peep the game. But see, the black folks still don't peep the game. There was this chat, matter of fact, I'm sorry my internet was messing up, but there was like this little, I went on Twitter one day and there was a space and I said, I had time, let me try, right? And, I tell you, like they were like, what if black people about the Ukrainian situation? And black folk were like, see, I'm like, hey, look, man, this is an opportunity to strike against the West. Opportunity. This is an opportunity to go away from the globalization. This is our time, right? But other black folk are like, hey, man, if they're not getting oil if they're not getting gas from these white countries, they might get it from us. Like we want to fit in. I told y'all it's about ambition. It's really about ambition. What do you want in this world? And you gotta understand what is the change that you want. Like, what is the political change that you want? Because see, that definition of revolutionary, I want you to understand. It's mostly to criticize the quote unquote Americans. I'll be honest with y'all. Because the reality is this: that killing people is a normal thing in the human experience. It's a normal thing in the human experience. People always kill folk for political change. That's just normal. We're the only ones not doing it. But it's normal in all parts of the planet. You understand? We're the only ones docile. Right? Now, why I say that is to say that these folk will kill you. Like, when you go to Africa, these folk will kill you to sell gas to this white boy. They will kill, the Ascari will kill you to go and sell gas to this white boy. I want you to understand. The enemies within are the Ascari. You understand that? And the Ascari are numerous. You know? Like these marching fools, I'll admit, they kind of just funny. You know what I mean? Messy Jesse can't do shit to me. But I want y'all to know like when we talk about revolution, we gotta understand that you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared to defend yourself, but not just defend yourself. Let's be honest. You gotta be prepared to gut the next motherfucker. I'm letting y'all know. I'm just letting you know. I'm trying to give you good advice. I mean, I shouldn't. You know what I mean? This ain't a free speech world, but I shouldn't. But I'm looking out for you. I want you to understand that in this world, people are going to try to kill you if you really want change. If you say to yourself, hey, you know what? Let's refine our own oil. There are going to be people who say, you know what? Now let's kill you and just sell the crude. And I'm not joking. They want power and died for it. Yeah, African says they want power and they died for it. Lero says broke wokes whom might have to reinstate that bougie title. Now I do want to address that though. Being broke ain't gonna do much for you. You know, if you're trying to make a state, you're talking about state building, right? How you gonna make a state being broke? The reason why a lot of Africa, like a lot of times we criticize Africa, and we say, hey, you know, why did they do this? Why didn't they do that? It's because they broke. And if we don't process that it's always been wealth. It's always been wealth that could improve a society. Right? Then we just like we're just playing games. You know? Like we're playing games. If we want factories, if we want clean water, if we want all that, like all of this can come from community, let's say. You know, all of this could come from that, but at some point when you begin trading outside of your community, you need wealth. Cuz you no longer it's no longer the community it's no longer the community going on. You know, like we have to get back down to the basics of economics, supply and demand. You know, if I want to create something using the resources in Congo, right? I have to exchange something for that. And if I don't exchange something for that, then I'll have to steal it. And if I don't steal it, then I just won't have the resources. Now, I'm not somebody that want to steal from my brothers and sisters. And because I don't want to steal from my brothers and sisters, that means I have to have a lot. I have to have a lot to give a lot. And I have to, and in order to get a lot, you have to give a lot. See, I believe in, again, there's two different schools of thought. You know, I talk about this in my book of Power, right? But there's two different schools of thought. There's the school of thought of, and this is how you would get wealth, right? There's something called reciprocity, right? Reciprocity, that's the African way. That's ma'at. And then there's exploitation. That's the Wazungu way. Okay, I call it Occidentalism, Orientalism, Eurasianism, whatever you want to call it. It's exploitation. Now, I want you to see the difference. It's the fundamental difference between our people and their people. Our philosophy and their philosophy. Our way and their way. Right? Fundamental difference is this. Reciprocity means giving and receiving in equal measure or comparable measure. Giving and receiving in comparable measure. This is this is the African way. This is reciprocity. Okay? Now, exploitation is receiving, right, in a disproportionate way. You know? Receiving in a disproportionate way. All right? That means that you're not giving as much as you're receiving. That's exploitation. Now, I think that all human relationships should be based off of reciprocity, of course. But I also, or all human relationships with our own people. Let's go there, right? But when you're wealthy, I break this down in the book, but when you're wealthy, the reason why a person would be wealthy, even in a ma'at environment, is that they will receive more when they give more. So people who give more, people who have higher output, people who give a lot will receive more. Now fast forward or rewind to what a broke woke is, right? If you're broke, right? Now there's two fundamental reasons. One, of course, is that you're in the wrong damn society. You're in the wrong damn country. You're in the wrong damn space. You're in the wrong damn economy, right? You're in the wrong economy because it's just not giving you what you're due. But on the other hand, you could also be broke if you're in the right economy. And you're just not giving enough to receive enough. Now you woke, per se, but you broke. And if you're not giving enough in your own community, if you're not giving enough in your own society, if you're not giving enough in your own economy, then you might have some good ideas, but you don't know how to act. If we're being honest. You don't know how to act. Because, see, it really comes down to action. You know? This is why, part of the reason why I sell books is not so much for the money, but part of the reason is so that I can say to myself, hey, look, I'm doing good things for you guys. If I'm the best seller in African history, right? If I'm the best seller in African philosophy, then it's like, hey, look, this dude's providing a service. You understand? That's one of my ambitions. Say, hey, you know what? I'm contributing to the economy that we want to develop. The only issue is that a lot of our people don't want to develop the same economy. And we're going to go into that. But yeah. But I tell you, shit. All right, but so broke woke, yeah, I do say broke woke, but I'm not going to say that's bougie. If you shit, I'll tell y'all. Some people tell you I'm definitely ain't bougie. All right, Afro Jam, bougie is a joke. Says bougie is a joke term. Just don't wallow in weakness. Yeah. Derek excuse is cut the cake. Okay. Get the cake shared, I guess. Kofi says, "LOL." Afro Jam says being broke is weak. Learning curves here. Learning curve says black folk have no clue. Shaking my head. Lero trying to get us to promote crime for financial gain. Look, it ain't a crime unless you get caught. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's it. It ain't a crime unless you get caught. Now, I'm not gonna say do a crime for financial gain, but definitely get yourself financial gain. You know what I'm saying? Just don't get caught. Because, you know what I'm saying? White boy tell you that too. You know? White boy tell you that too. But yeah, white boy tell you that too. And it just really comes down to what it is that you want to do. You know? What it is you want to do. But that's the thing. This white boy is trying to contain who gets financial gain in his community. That's why my thing, realistically speaking, is just to get get out of his community. Just get out of his community and realize that this dude is trying to control his space, and he's very successful, and he's trying to catch those who are trying to get financial gain, with unbeknownst to him. And it's like, well, to what extent is it worth it to be around him? Derek Excuse says, free brother Ozone. Tanzan tells everybody peace. So peace, Tanzan. Afrojam says, get them likes up, right? Kofi says, the basic is needed for real. Yeah. Lero says, don't steal from your own. It's free game for the rest. And this is the thing I want people to understand what Lero just said. what Lero just said about it's free game for the rest. We have to understand that's how white boys think. And it's a good way that they think. But I want you to realize that a lot of times we as nationalists, I feel like, me personally, for instance, we as nationalists, we could understand this white boy. Like we understand him in the sense that he's looking out for his own people. And we're looking out for our own people. That's why I said to myself, like, I don't really want to be around him. I don't really want to be around him. I understand that he's a mess. He did all this, blah, blah, blah. I just want to, like, I see why he did it. Because I said to myself, look, if I had an African community and I had some white boys walking around doing some, just doing anything, like, yeah, I'll be violent with them. I ain't going to hold y'all. Like, just doing anything, just looking at me the wrong way. I see three white boys in a you know what I'm saying? Like three white boys hanging around a circle or meeting at night. I'm going to be suspicious. Like, I get it. I know it sucks. We don't want to hear that. And I get it. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear, oh, well, I kind of get it. But, like, I kind of get it. I'm not going to lie to y'all. That's one thing I'm not trying to do. I'm not trying to lie to y'all. Lero says, okay, you get it, Oni. You're not a criminal until you hit the station. Yeah, I mean, look, man. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. You're not a criminal until they hit the station, and you're innocent until proven guilty. You know what I'm saying? You're innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, you're not a criminal until, not just the station, until the judge. I mean, unfortunately, you're getting judged by this whitey, but until the judge hits the gavel, whatever, you ain't no criminal. And see, we know this. We know this. See, that's what I'm saying. Like the way how the white boy does it. White boy says like this. He got a white rich boy hanging out with some black poor folk, but they all doing thug shit. They all doing crime. They all selling drugs. They doing whatever, right? And then they go in front of the judge, and the black folk get the years, and the white boy gets a slap on the wrist, right? The white boy at no point, the white boy is doing the same thing as these black kids. Oh, actually, I'll be honest. Maybe in that particular circumstance he didn't, but the white boy is doing the same thing as these black kids, right? But he's not a criminal. He's never a criminal. He's innocent until proven guilty. You know what I mean? And you ain't proven guilty until you before the jury. Like that's pretty much it. I'll tell you what it is. That's pretty much it. I mean, I can't even elaborate on that anymore. Arthur George says it's not about crime. It's about your character. You become what you practice. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely, yeah, I mean, like, you do, that's the thing about us is, too, I do want to stress that as well. Like, when we talk about nation building, we're talking about, like character building as well. Like, we're talking about having good characters within our nations, or at least good characters in charge within our nations. And, of course, I'll be honest with y'all, if somebody's, like, just doing a bunch of dumb shit, doing exploitation in your community that is receiving without giving, which we would normally call crime. But, of course, again, it's not a crime until your society deems it as much. But if they're doing some dumb shit, as much as I might like that in a foreign land, it's like the Ukraine invasion, right? It ain't no crime to Russia. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause it's really no crime for the Russian citizen to go over to Ukraine and shoot them. It's a crime for a Russian citizen to do that in Russia. Crime is dictated by your community. By your nation. Your nation writes the laws. It's all about, and unless if they slip it on enforcing it, it ain't no crime. You understand? I mean, obviously they're going to accuse you of doing a crime, but again, somebody else, a white boy could do the same thing, and it's just not a crime. It's like the Trayvon Martin situation. It wasn't apparently it wasn't a crime. I think it was criminal. You think it was criminal. White boy did it. White boy's walking free. Now, why is he walking free 10 years later? Or how many years later? 5 years? I don't know how many years, but why he walking free 5 years later? Because we marching. But that's what I can say. Lero saying, I don't advocate for anything. Just saying, though. Lero, say it with your chest. Come on. All right, Arthur George. Well, I mean, look. How you gonna let me say it? No, I'm joking. No, we gotta be real. We gotta be real, though. We gotta be real. You know, because black folk want answers. You know, black folk want answers. And I'm going to tell y'all straight, you know. A lot of you don't want to hear that, you know. But this is just the way of the world. You know, things, you know, yeah, like if you're living in a society where, like, you're living in different nations where the person who determines whether something's a crime isn't you, but it's the nation. And until the nation determines on you, now they do warn you beforehand that they may think that what you're doing is a crime, but until they tell you directly, you know, I mean, it's up to you. If you feel like you can't get caught, then, you know, test your luck. If you need to. Arthur George says, the fact that white boys think this way is enough to disavow it. We can't look to their systems for this type of guidance. Yeah, I mean, it's not about guidance, though. It's not about guidance. It's the reality that how they see things isn't immature. It's actually a mature view. You know, you look out for your people first, or you just have to realize you're in a state of war. You know, somebody was pointing out to me the other day. They said, "Hey, man, can you imagine that American media is condemning?" Oh yeah, I think this was the example. They said American media was condemning Venezuela, like there's a Russian company in Venezuela. No, sorry. The Russians are now providing mercenary services for the Malian government, right? And can you imagine they're taking advantage of the French's bad job of protecting, of the French's bad job, and now they got the Russians, and the Russians are taking advantage of them, blah, 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 blah. And the person was telling me, this is free market capitalism. You know, how these Americans sound so ironic, so stupid, or so self-contradictory, in the sense that they're condemning free market capitalism in so much as the Russians are now providing a service that the French failed to do. And I said, look, well, that's just how war is. Like the reality is that they're not condemning the Russians until they're at war with them. And then they go all out. And everything you see is Russia, bad Russia, bad Russia, bad Russia, bad Russia. When 2 weeks ago, it wasn't. Everything is, you know, Russians don't deserve any services. Russians don't deserve anything. Russians don't deserve anything. And when 2 weeks ago, they were leading customers. They were a big market. You know, when we understand what war is, we realize that the logical thing, you know, actually, it's basically one of the rules of warfare, which is whatever harms your enemy benefits you. And whatever benefits your enemy harms you. And so, realistically speaking, as a group at war, you cannot not harm your enemy. You cannot benefit your enemy, because when you benefit your enemy, you are harming yourself. And so that's just the logical, mature thing. The issue with us is that we say to ourselves, let's benefit both groups, even when they're trying to harm us. Or let's benefit them, even though that harms us. You know? Learning curve is telling us facts. Arthur George says, yes, you look out for your people first, and yes, we are in a state of war. This is true. Yeah, but once you realize that you're looking out for your people first, you got to realize, again, it's about the benefit versus harm dichotomy. The benefit versus harm dichotomy. You cannot benefit another people, especially the people at war. And this is the whole thing playing out in front of us, where we see all this sort of aggression and manipulation against Russia. And the thing is this, and nobody's saying Russia was right. Nobody's saying Russia's right. They all fall in line, even though Russia is right. Me saying that is like, oh shit, bro, come on, shut the fuck up. You lucky you a small platform. Or we're going to keep you a small platform. Me saying that is like, hey, we're going to keep you a small platform. But that's what it is. Nobody's saying it, because they're in a state of war. And this is not just like a cold war. This is a hot war. You know? This white boy is thinking in a way to keep himself on top, to keep the global order going. You know? And that's what it really comes down to. What's the ambition of our people? What's the mission of our people? You know? Do we want a nation where we are second to foreigners? Because the thing is this, that I'll be honest with y'all. In Africa, there's a lot of nations where we are second to foreigners. In fact, if I'm being if I'm being for real, as a foreigner in Ghana last year, I was put in front of a lot of indigenous Ghanaians. Now, I'm not going to say that you should mistreat every foreigner or even black foreigners. I won't say that. I shouldn't say that a foreigner should be beneath anybody who's indigenous. I will not say that. You know, I understand that wealth has its perks. You know? But, you know, let's transform that. If I were white, you understand? And that's a problem. Like that makes it even a bigger problem. Not if I were white and wealthy, you know, because that's a thing too, obviously. But that's another thing we have to realize too. How is it that this wealth comes about? How is this wealth difference comes about? And is this benefiting us? And we're actually going to talk about that a little later. So I want to go into this next topic. And this is just really, just beautiful beggars. Just sometimes, you know, I'm reminded of something Lero retweeted. You know, I shouldn't say it, obviously, but something Lero retweeted. So it goes like this. So basically, this is a pretty woman, pretty black woman, right? She's talking to this, I think it's like a presidential candidate for France, possibly, right? And this is the conversation they have. She goes, "Would you let me in?" He's like, "I don't know. You come from Senegal, you said? And you came here, why? How?" She goes, "To have a better life." "Ah, but you know, if the billion Africans came here to have a better life, we wouldn't have any more room." That would be difficult. So that's not enough reason. I'm sorry. But if it's just to have a better life, I am for zero immigration. I want the French to have a better life. I think of the French people first. That's how it is. I think the Senegalese leaders think of the Senegalese people first. And they are very right. I think the Algerian leaders think of the Algerian people first. And they are very right. So no, I'm sorry to tell you, but for me, French people first. And moreover, we have welcomed enormous numbers of people for years. Enormous. And that poses enormous problems. So then the black girl goes, and so, by the way, this person's using quotation marks really bad. You're not supposed to close the quotation marks. Just if it's the same person talking, you're not supposed to change them. You're not supposed to close it, because then it seems like the next person talking. Whatever. He goes, so she says, "So am I French to you?" And he's like, "You have French nationality?" She goes, "Then of course." No, he goes, "Of course." So he's like, "Oh, then of course you are French." She's like, "Well, basically, I left my country to come to France, and I was very well received. I know the French people are the most generous in the world. If you are elected and someone comes to France to have a better life, it's not possible? No." So I guess they're trying to condemn him. I guess they're trying to condemn this French guy for exactly what we were just talking about. He's just looking out for, he says he's looking out for his own people. You know? He's looking out for his own people. Now, his people do make an international empire to give nationality to people outside of themselves, but you see what's going on. I want you to, I call this beautiful beggars, right? By the way, Learning Curve said you define yourself in your community, right? I said, and actually this falls into it. Senegalese woman, beautiful woman, right? Pretty woman, great complexion, right? Good physical features. She would offer herself, like she's bowing before these white folk for a better life. You know, when we talk about the enemies within, and I mean, look, I'll be honest with you, this is not, like, this is kind of what you want for your enemies anyway. You know, to just leave your damn country. You know, leave your country. But this is also a problematic mentality. Because here's another thing that you're going to realize too. A lot of people who are going to leave your country, right, if you invest, like for instance, let's say this. You start up a school in Senegal, right? You start up a school. Like basically, she is the product of Senegal. Okay, Senegal invested in her. Invested in her in order for her to have a better life. And with their investment, she said, "Oh, I know what to do. I know how to transform this into the better life that you promised me. And that is to give myself to these white folk. That is to give myself to these white folk. To go before them and bow my head and beg. And then my beautiful melanin is going to be washed away. in 40 years. My genetics that I took to master over 200,000 years is going to be wiped away, and my great grandson will look like him, and interview my cousins, and say, "No, you're not French." And I want people to. I do want to point out something though. To a large extent, this comes back to the fact that we do not develop our economy, and a lot of times, I'll actually point this out because this was one of those videos that I really thought, like, really just jumped at me. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find it. It's on YouTube real quick. It basically, it's like, let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna look at my history for a second. Yeah, I'm not just blindly showing that stuff. Well, am I? Let me see what the comments are saying. I think Arthur says, people accept immigrants based on what they can contribute. If you are an educated professional with resources, you do more for their economy. Exactly. And here's the thing, though. If you're an educated professional with resources, where'd you get those resources? Where'd you get that education? You understand? So basically, your community invested in you. Senegal invested in you to become an educated professional with resources. You understand? It's not like, it's different if you're a refugee. It's different if you're fleeing a war. And remember this, a lot of African immigrants, most of them, 90-something% of them, are still in Africa. Okay? Either way, I want people to understand that when you, like, what we have to do is, among other things, we have to develop our economy. Like the most important thing we have to do is develop our economy. We can't keep not doing that. It's going to cost us. And I'm going to put this up before quote unquote African Americans tell us, well, that's the problem with all these other people. They can't, they're not like us. We the best. Before y'all tell me that, before y'all lie to me, I'm gonna actually share with y'all this, like one of these videos. I never actually watched the whole thing. It's 30-something minute video. I never even watched the whole thing. Wait, give me 2 seconds actually. All right, let me see if I can switch this. All right. Let me see. Can y'all see this? Let me see. Yeah. So look up this video when you have a chance. I never watched the whole thing because I couldn't. You're about to see an interview from 1989 with J. Samuel Williams and his wife Annie, reflecting on the growing up in Farmville, Prince Edward County, Virginia during the time of segregation. Stick with it. They are powerful and insightful presenters.
We could see it. And in a community like this, in a deeply segregated community like Farmville, when you get about 5 or 6 years old, you begin to see, and maybe earlier, you begin to see who owns and controls the means of distribution of goods and services in the community. All white faces behind a cash register, giving you money. Every time you're giving your money, you're giving it to a white person. These are the kinds of things that touch the psychic.
Yeah, it didn't have to be said because you could always see the line. We went to black schools, white people went to white schools. We went to black church, white people went to white church. If you had to go, we had small black stores in the black community, but to do your major shopping, you had to go to a white store. Your parents worked for white people. So, you didn't have to say it. We grew up knowing that we belong over here and they belong over there.
In the black community, we were prepared by setting certain goals, objectives for ourselves. This was done primarily in the home, in the church, and in the school at that particular time because schools had a heavy reinforcement into our characters because they were black schools. Schools were not integrated at that time. Do the best that you can with your life. You are unique. You have a contribution to make. You have something to offer. You have a talent. You have skills, many, many other things that you do have. Go on out there into the world and get them. Don't stay here in Farmville. There's nothing here for you. It's a retired person's town, a little small place of this nature, but go on and develop it. College, if you can't go to college, take up a good skill. Skill trades were heavy then. We've moved away from that, of course, now, but in the 50s, skill trades were very heavy. Masonry, carpentry.
All right, I think y'all... All right, so I'm going to rewind to the part that I want you to understand. You heard it. He says, do not stay in Farnsville. You understand? We gave you these skills. The school is telling you, hey, look, we prepared you to go out into the world. The world is not, go out into the world and say, go to Russia, go to China. That's not what they're saying. They're saying, we prepared you to go out into the world. What was the world? Don't stay in this town. Don't stay in this black community. You understand? This is what's going on. This is the ancestors of the quote unquote ADOS, if you want, of the organization ADOS, and so on and so forth. And this is partly why sometimes when I hear black folks saying, segregation was bad, and segregation was better for us. This is real segregation. People who were segregated talking, telling you, hey, you know what? Realistically speaking, we did want to integrate because we didn't develop our own economies. I'm just going to play it again for y'all.
You can, with your life, that reinforcement into our characters because they were black schools. Schools were not integrated at that time. Do the best that you can with your life. You are unique. You have a contribution to make. You have something to offer. You have a talent. You have skills. Many, many other things that you do have. Go on out there into the world and get them. Don't stay here in Farmville. There's nothing here for you. It's a retired person's town.
I mean, look, retired person's town. I want y'all to understand what that means, though. It comes back to this broke woke. It comes back to this reality that until you really say to yourself, let me give our people an economy. Until you really say to yourself, let me make it so that our communities are not retirement centers, but that they're growing and thriving and developing. Until you understand economics, right? You're going to fail your people, and your people are going to leave and go serve the people who don't have that backward mentality. I'm going to tell y'all like it is. Part of why I don't like going on YouTube is because y'all can see the history. Sometimes sometimes it recommends these weird videos, and you just like, what the fuck am I looking at? Y'all know what it is. But it's just different because, at least here, at least on Twitter, they don't show you nothing. All right, anyway, what are we talking about? I know, I'm telling myself. Arthur George says, people accept, yeah, well said. So many resources from the Caribbean have been siphoned off. Yeah, I mean, look, this is just something that we do. We do this. Tecum is here. Tecum says RBG. Peace to Tecum. Arthur George says, it is understandable that we send people out, but we must program them to return. That's the thing. If you don't, like when I was in Ghana, the little community that I was in, nothing going on. I'll tell you, people were just sitting down waiting for something good to fall into their laps. A lot of people in Africa are just waiting for something good to fall in their laps. And the thing is this, it's not like an African trait. It's really just a westernized trait. See, what people don't understand about quote-unquote African Americans is that they are the domesticated of America, right? They are the Africans of America. And they're basically the model that people use or people test on in order to see how they can subdue other people. Like if you could subdue the African in America, you could subdue Africans abroad, right? And it's not to say that African Americans are any special, special in that sort of capacity, but just remember that America, America has a psychology department. Let's just say that, this mentality of sending your people out into the world, that's the same mentality this sister's doing. The same mentality, and you never know, but her school might have pushed her for that. In fact, I'm not even gonna say it might have pushed her for that. Because when I was in Ghana, one of the things that I took pictures of were these, hey, you want to learn how to pass the SAT? Hey, you want to learn how to pass the ACT? Hey, and I'm like, those are American tests. They're like, hey, do you want to study abroad? Do you here's a good way to study abroad. Like those are like or do you want to learn English? I mean, and it's not, and again, it's not unusual. Again, when I was in my high school years, I was also like, shit, let me go to this white college or that white college or whatever. I mean, it's not that I didn't want to go to a black college. I'm just saying that, like, it's not. But see, I will say that I was domesticated. I went to white school, so of course they pushed the white college on me. The difference is this: the black schools, the segregated black schools, pushed white schools on the black youth. There's so much that we need to do, and we're not even beginning to do it. So yeah, I mean it's understandable to send people out, of course, but these people were told to never come back. That's the difference. This Senegalese sister, beautiful sister, right? She's told to get herself some mulatto babies. I don't know per se, but maybe not for her personally, but trust and believe. There's a lot of black folk being told to get mulatto babies. A lot of black folk being told to get the mixed race hair or the mixed race complexion. This is a normal thing. Learning Curve says ignorance is a multi-generational curse for black people. Yeah, definitely. Arthur says there has to be goal for going out. Go out to bring back resources. You have to know that you are at war. If you go out without the concept of war, you're going out to be lost. See, the thing is, I want us to understand, right? These black folk are retired. Like I never got to go to the South. I mean, I went to the South, but I go to the city or something, right? But when I was in Africa, I'm telling you, I told y'all what, my observations, right? This dude was sitting down all day, just sitting on a chair outside, baking. All day, and that's his life. That dude is not encouraging you to come back. He is not encouraging you to come back. He can't. Because there's nothing there. Until we build an economy, until we build an economic system, it's going to sound good. It's going to sound good tight. It's going to sound good saying it among ourselves. But until it's like broke woke. It's like this. If I got money, if I got a business, and I tell my son, hey, look, man, you can go out in the world, you go learn some engineering, right? Unless I have a position for him, I can't tell him to come back. I can't tell him go learn engineering and then come back home. Not the curse, but what's he gonna do at home if I don't got no engineering position for him? Like I go and study astrophysics, right? There's nowhere in the black community that's facilitating astrophysics. I can't go anywhere in the black community and tell you, hey, I can tell you the perihelion of that star. Like that's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you. I go to the white boy and be like, hey, I'll tell you the perihelion. And he's like, shit, you can tell me the perihelion? What about the aphelion? I'm like, yeah, I can tell you the aphelion too. But if black folk don't got it, then it don't make no damn sense for them. Like they can't send me out to do that. They can't say, oh, go out there and return and bring it back to me. I gotta bring back to you. Okay, here's how you compute. The here's Chandrasekhar's equation for hydrostatics. Do with it what you must. I can't bring it back to you. What you gonna do with it? I used to point out, one of the issues with us as a people is that we don't have no observatory. I mean, that was one of my issues. That was one of my personal issues. But like we don't have it. This is something I realized that with us, we don't have any institutions of higher learning. Most of us don't have any institutions of higher learning. That's part of the reason why this family we saw. And I mean, this is I consider them my ancestors. I know a lot of people don't consider them my ancestors, but I consider them my ancestors. These are our ancestors telling us, what it was. But we saying to ourselves, like I said, the rhetoric is going around trying to get us to believe something else is going on. Real black gentleman said, them recommendations be bugging PPP. I tell you, man, I think one day, some brothers said, I was hanging out with these brothers, one time on Discord, we hanging out with these brothers, and they were like, hey, you wanna, I'm gonna tell you it was a good looking girl, right? And they showed me a track star, right? One day, they said, look up this track star. And I looked up the track star. I don't know why, but in my recommendations is always, like, I was like, one day, you know what I'm saying? But like, and the issue is that, you keep saying why, all right, let me go. All right, Arthur George says, if you are born into an enclave with no future, you do not need to go out into the world. Yes, the world that despises you. No, you do need to go out in the world. The world that despises you. You need to go out with a purpose. We go out with no purpose other than escape. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The people, if you don't set up an economy, only thing people can do is escape. If you can't feed your community, only thing that they could do is escape. Economy is short for how you feed your people. And the reality is that they explain it to you. These white folk were feeding you. These white folk were feeding you. You had a dependence. And once you have a dependence, the reality is this, that when you have dependence, nothing good's coming from it. EL says, we think opportunities come out of white people's pores. And, it's not so much that we... Look, that's the issue. That's the issue. The issue is this. If we don't build those opportunities, then they do come from white people's pores. That's the problem. One of the things I realized, because see, when I was like a beginning when you go out and try to organize people, try to get people into meetings, try to get people into your group, into your organization, meet up with you on a weekly basis, you gotta go out and engage folk, and a lot of times folk will engage you back, and you're going to realize that a lot of what they're saying is logical, but we in the quote unquote conscious community are kind of living off of some fantasy. See, one thing I want to do is I want to bring realism into the conscious community, and that's one of the hardest things there is. But we have to be honest. We have to be real. Who has the opportunity for the engineering gig? Who has the opportunity for the for the doctor gig? Who can like I was looking at this website. They're talking about how much software engineers get paid. Who's going to pay you that much for software engineering? You know what I mean? Unfortunately, where the capital is, that's why I keep going back to we cannot be broke woke. It's not to do with being bougie. We can't be broke woke because when we're broke woke and they are rich, when the people want to go eat, they're going to go to the rich folk. Afrojam says, brain drain is now cultural, unfortunately. Yeah. They, the West, base their economy on us. We seek proximity to whites instead of taking control of our resources. The issue with a lot of quote unquote black folk is that they sitting on land that's not resourceful. Like they're not sitting on the minerals. They're not sitting on the minerals. They sitting in village. And not like that city that you saw that whatever they were calling Farmsville or whatever. There was nothing there. There were no resources there. There wasn't no diamond mine there. It wasn't like they were just sitting by the not diamond. They were put into the worst land and told, go do something. I mean, if you want something to eat, come to me. Bit of Medicine is here. Shout out to Bit of Medicine. Says a lot, El says, Naim Akbar says that we stay in the Pharaoh's house in bondage because we refuse to go into the desert. Allusion to Moses' story in the Bible, right? I don't know the Bible, so I can't even say nothing about that. Canada says, peace, family. Arthur says, until we build something, that is the refrain. I know. See, I feel Arthur George's frustration. I hate it. That's why, me personally, I think that realistically for me, I got to find a way back home. Okay, I got to find a way back home. I don't know about y'all, but I hate it. I hate it here. I got to find a way back home. Because I've heard it for so long. Okay, it's just we just say, well, until we build something, until we do. It's like I said, the evolutionaries. I told y'all about them earlier. Just saying, hey, look, man, I tell you, I ain't gonna vote because I'm fighting the white man. I'm at war with this white man. You ain't doing shit. This white man don't even give a fuck. Like if you were at war with this white boy, he would have cut your credit card off. I don't want to say any names, but I'll tell you one time, the reason why I don't really mess with ADOS, the reason why I don't really attack ADOS like that. I'll tell you the truth. The reason why I'm like, ADOS is not totally unreasonable. One time ADOS was talking with quote unquote a Pan-Africanist. And then they started getting at this brother for having a nice house. They were like, you ain't gonna go to Africa. Look at your house. You got a nice house. You got a beautiful wife. You ain't going to Africa. And I said to myself, damn, this motherfucker might be right. Like a lot of people preaching revolution. A lot of people, like they got their nice house. They got their nice wives. They got their nice lives. They got their nice jobs. They got their, they got a nice vacation. They got their endless internet, and they're not looking to give that up. And the thing is this, that y'all see what this white boy doing to Russia. If this white boy is doing that to Russia, if you were a real revolutionary, you don't think he would have done that to your dumb ass? See, at least me, I said to myself, look, let me be a little bit more private with my identity. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I would date a woman, she wouldn't even know she would hardly know about me. I'll tell you, the first time I met my wife, every time I would take her home from the train station, I'd go a different route. I'd go a different route because we walked back from the train station, I'd walk a different route every time, to the point where even when we arrived, she had no idea where I lived. No idea. Now, of course, obviously, you can't do that now with GPS. but this was the woman that I was going to marry, right? And even then, I was like, yeah, nope. I mean, it took me a while for her to even know, things about me. I remember one time I was dating this other woman, and she didn't even know, like it was weird. But anyway, my point is that, if you're really about it, right? You're not. Like your moves are low key, I would think. Because if they weren't, like the way how this white boy be operating, like you can't operate in plain sight in front of him. You can't be like, hey, I'm gonna be at so and so at so and so hour, and you a real revolutionary. Like for real, you at war for real, and you gonna let this white boy know where you gonna be, where he can find you, how he can harm you, really? Anyway, but yeah. So that's why I said like I feel Audrey's pain where it's like, yeah, we just keep saying until we build something. Like that's why I'm saying to myself, look, me personally, I'm just gonna go and try my hand, just live my life, cause I feel like I'm meant for something more. But I feel also like it's not for me here. It could be it for y'all here. I'm just talking about for me. For me. I'm not supposed to be here. You know what I'm saying? Tecum says the responsibility of the first group, black astrophysicists, is to set up research labs and institutions so that the ones behind them can benefit and bring more in. Yeah, I mean, look, you want to build an observatory, but observatories don't generate capital. See, the astrophysicist is basically the way how the economy works is that you first have to get your food. You got to get your food handled. Right? Your food situation handled. If you start off with anything before you start off with food, you're always going to be dependent because your people got to eat. And that's it. Like, so us right now, without, and the thing is that it starts off with land. That's why I said I just want to go to Africa, because if you don't have land, just don't even talk about nationalism at that point. Like, don't even talk about, like if you don't have land, don't even, like just take the word out of your mouth. I mean, for what it's worth, the people who were segregated kind of have land, but then you see that if they're buying all their food and all their products from white folk, they don't have good enough land. But they had more land than we did. Arthur says, these are our ancestors. Yeah. Teacup says, that's the burden of being the first of anything. Althazar says, we need to prioritize what we study: agriculture, civil engineering, logistics, the things that will allow us to supply the needs in our economies, not study what we like or is cool. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I just want to just add to that. The needs of your economies, are supplying the needs, it all comes back to land. It's like you could have all the engineering in the world, but if you're prohibited from the city, if you will, from even building the bridge, then it doesn't even matter. If you don't have access to the materials to build the bridge, if you can't afford to build the bridge, it don't matter if you could build a fucking bridge. Like, if you can technically build a bridge, if you could say, hey, yeah, if I had these materials, I could build a bridge. That doesn't mean anything. Until you have the materials, and of course it all comes back to land, because until you're on land, you're not going to get the material. You're not going to know what materials are available to you or what materials you can trade to get the materials that you need. If I need steel, right, and I'm surrounded by oak trees, then I could possibly cut down the oak trees and give it to somebody who could give me back steel. I could do that. Or I could steal the steel. You know what I'm saying? I could do that. But again, none of that even makes any damn sense if you're sitting down, like let's say you're sitting down in a comfortable house in I don't know, name a random state, Maryland, right? If you're sitting down in a comfortable house in Maryland, it don't mean nothing if you could build a bridge. One, you're not gonna be able to build no bridge. Two, you ain't even know where there needs a bridge. You know what I mean? Like I've seen videos of black folk in Africa, walking through water, and it's like, yeah. Let me not. I'm trying to be a little faster. Let's go. White people. Keter says, white people have politically, economically, and culturally colonized our minds. Yep. Kofi says, broke woke. And the thing is that, yeah, they colonized because they colonized. It's like what they were supposed to do. Let's be honest. You got white folk. If you have white folk in your nation, right, for whatever reason, you have white folk in your nation, what are you going to teach them? If they demand that they get to go to school, what are you going to teach them? Or even if they say themselves, hey, look, we can teach ourselves. You're not going to try to make sure they ain't teaching revolution? Kofi says broke woke can't work. Yeah, it can't work. Real black gentleman says broke woke is dangerous. Damn, we about to get at these broke woke. Still half asleep. Yeah. Other says the transportation network is something that needs to be developed in Africa. Trains, buses, airplanes. This is the type of vision we need to have and give to those who go out. Yeah, I mean, most definitely. I realize that there's probably no black-owned subway stations on the planet. And by black-owned, I mean like black-manufactured subway stations on the planet. For what it's worth, I can't remember. I think New York might have developed the first one or one of the early ones. Maybe London did. It's a really complicated endeavor. The subway, the underground train thing. It's not like an easy endeavor, but it's just to say that it's very like we don't have it. We don't do it. We don't. And it's like, as long as we tend to leave our people, as long as we tend to just not invest in our own land, we won't have it. Like, we just won't have it. And I mean, it's nothing against us as African people, but it's it is what it is. Real Black Gentleman says in boats, that was one of the things I didn't like about the Garvey situation of he had to buy boats and they always overcharged him. But, the thing is that if we're not making boats, like we do have airplanes. I'll give y'all that. Maurice Bishop did in Grenada. He did make his own airport, of course, with foreign assistance, foreign help. But that's the thing that we got to realize. A lot of the technical know-how is in the hands of the foreigners, because the foreigners, for what it's worth, a lot of times started and built them and saw a need for them and so on and so forth. So, but yeah, so we do have airplanes, of course. We do have buses, if you will, sort of, at least vans or whatever. right? But yeah, trains and boats, not so much. Real Black Gentleman says, Africans came to these lands on boats, and I honestly believe that a massive shipping sector is the only way for Africans to prosper. I mean, we did definitely make boats once upon a time, you know? Maybe not the huge boats we see today, but, you know, boats nonetheless. RBG says, yes, we should learn the shipping sector. This is a very important sector for us to have knowledge of. Yeah, this is trading. Trading is one of the most important things about any economy. And trading is one of the hallmarks of wealth. You know, it's one of the cornerstones of wealth. Sorry, that's why you know when you talk about broke woke, you're talking about people who don't trade essentially. You know, they don't produce anything. That was one of the reasons why I even wrote books, because I'll tell y'all sometimes a story, but it goes like, I have this website, this other guy has this website, right? He's saying a bunch of stupid shit. I'm saying a bunch of smart shit, right? But he's selling a book, and he's making money. And I'm not selling a book, and I'm not making money. So who's really doing the dumb shit? Who's really saying the dumb shit? You know? Like, I'm saying all the right stuff. He's talking about all this, you know, black women are garbage, black women are blah, blah. But he's selling a book anyway. And that's the thing. It's like, and, you know, now of course, I'm a little silly because I'm selling the book, but, you know, I need people to buy the book. But regardless, that's really what it comes down to. It's like, if you talk economy, if you talk economics, and you do not have a product, then stop talking economics and start practicing it. Start doing economics. You know, I gotta go back to my first book. My first book, you heard the intro, was Zubillion Moons in My Eye. You know? And in that book, the brother emphasizes you got to have a product, black man. You know, you have to have a product. You have to have a product. Every one of us, because especially since we're not a Scotty, every one of us should have a product. Okay? You should have a product right now and trade it. One, you get exposed to the reality of economics, which is you have to satisfy the customer, you have to satisfy the seller. And the other one is that you can't talk economics and not have a role in it. See, because I could at least say, you know what? I'm in the book printing sector. I can't say I'm a successful book printer, but I could say at least that. Oh, I'm part of the black book economy. But if you can't say you're a part of anything, right? Then as a human being, as an economical being, you're slipping. And like I said, you know, y'all go and check out. Y'all make sure y'all get my books. I'll tell you that, because my books have this in it. You know, but, you know, again, like I said, a lot of us, you know, it's like you want to hide something from black folk, put it in the book, you know. You know, I'm a professional a hider of knowledge, you know. All right. The West is ruthless with Russia. Yeah, he also says the West is ruthless with Russia. I'm telling you. Real Black Gentleman says, you can put 10,000 people on a boat with relative comfort and have them return to Africa in weeks as opposed to hundreds crammed on boats for months. Oh, you mean talking about these days? Yeah. Marcus McGee says, I'm starting to feel like I don't want to be here either. I hope you mean in America, not on this podcast. He's like, damn, I don't want to be on this podcast either. All right, Maslow's Pyramid. EO says Maslow's Pyramid. We need to solve our basic problems before we solve more superfluous things. Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to that. Arthur George says, guilty as charged. I need to have a product. I've been focusing on giving my talent away to my community. No one respects charity, not even the beneficiaries. I mean, the thing is this. It's like, I'm still giving. You know, I just say, hey, look, I also have a product. You know? And I mean, it comes off bad. You know, like a lot of times people don't want you to come off as a grifter. They don't want you to come off as, oh, you just doing this for the money. Or you just doing this because you want to sell something. Or you just doing it. You know, and that's one of the reasons why, but that's one of the things that we are taught. We're taught to think that way. And the reality is that a lot of our people do think that way. And so they're going to think about you worse for that. But you have to realize, let's be honest. If you were a free people, or if your goal is to be a free people, right? Part of it is just acting like a free people. If I were if I were a scholar in Africa, I would sell my damn book. Because see, these white folk, they sell books. They write books and sell books. You know? There's a lot of white intellectuals right now who write and sell books. and do lectures and talk on circuits and get invited places. I don't get invited anywhere, but they get invited places. They do something. Why? Because they free. Now you might be like, well, why you acting free if you ain't free? Or you know that freedom is a different thing for us. You know, you might say that. But I know that if I want a black economy, I have to, I can't just say it. Can't just say, hey, you know, we need to have an economy. I have to be a part of it to the best of my ability. Okay, to the best of my ability. And my ability happens to be in writing. My ability happens to be in speaking. My ability happens to be, in mathematics, obviously. But, but you just do what you can. Do what you can. Let's go on to the next one. But, I see that we kind of get a little distracted quickly. But it is what it is. Let's go. So this one's, sit with Massa. Sit with Massa. And nerds. Some idiot was on my TL talking about look, I got this muted automatically. Some idiot was talking about on my TL. See, that's the thing. The thing I like about the idiots, but the thing I don't like about them is how they attack other groups like they imperfect. So he goes, white American households own 90% of the national wealth, and black Americans altogether own 2.6% of the national wealth, right? And so this is Joyce Beatty. She is serving as Ohio's 3rd District Chair of the Black Caucus, Chair of the FSC Dem Subcommittee. This is her.
We're not accepting the everyday norm. We're pushing the envelope because that's what we do as members of the Congressional Black Caucus. It is not often that you come to the White House and you get the entire executive team to sit with you. It is not often that you come to the White House and you get more time than was scheduled. We know usually you're pulled away. So I think that speaks volumes, not only to the president, but the Congressional Black Caucus. We're not
So basically what she's saying, this is the representative. This is representative. She's like, hey, we sat down with the president and the meeting was running longer and he didn't kick us out right away. Usually they kick us out before the meeting's over. But he didn't kick us out right away, and that's a great thing. That's a good white man. He's fucking enemy. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, like, I don't like to call women my enemy, but damn it. I mean, damn it. But so people are pointing out white American household. But I did want to also point out this, though. So I think people were saying, people were quoting this lady. And this is the thing about these internet revolutionaries, is that they're like, hey, I shouldn't even show y'all this really. But this was apparently the Black Caucus did a poll a year ago, right? So somebody else quoted under it. They did a poll a year ago. So you see the date on the bottom. It says 6/30/21. So June 2021, right? And it says, what legislative priority of the Congressional Black Caucus do you want to hear more about and remain the most important to you, right? And so the Black Caucus gives you these 4 things. They say, here's the vote. Voting rights, infrastructure, George Floyd, or shit, let's just say reparations. Let's just let them know we still woke, but we know they don't really want it. And I'm guessing the, ABA flooded the vote with, 2,000 plus votes on reparations, maybe. I mean, maybe it's not just them, but, it is what it is. But this was last year, and they didn't say nothing. The Congressional Black Caucus was like, shit, okay, I don't give a fuck. I don't mean to curse, family. But they're like, I don't care. I thought that was just an interesting thing just to share. I shouldn't have shared it, though, because I'm giving these people more energy than they deserve. But let's go to this next one. Actually, let me see what the comments are like. David here says, check out Honda Heavy Industries. South Koreans already did what we're talking about in theory. They're once the poorest nation in the world. So that's an interesting observation as well about the South Koreans. A lot of people understand that until you get your economy right, until you get some sort of economic thing going, right, you're not going to advance. And again, like I said, it really comes back down to, when I talk about the solution for African people, I'm talking about you operating on land. Because what South Koreans have is land. What Japan has is land. What I mean, let's be honest. What Angola has is land, with so on and so forth. All the African countries have land. What we need to do is we need to have land and put the land in the right hands. You don't have the resources until the resources are in your political control. You understand? That's the origin of nations. The origin of states is that you have a land, and then you have to decide how that land is going to be used by the members of the community. Can anybody go into the back and cut the trees down and sell them to anybody else? Or is there some sort of order to that? Because if there's no order to that, right, then some people are going to win when they're all in the same space. So you want some sort of order to that. And so, that's one thing that we have to realize. But I definitely do encourage y'all to follow what David just said. Real Black Gentleman says, many hands make light work. To David, Real Black Gentleman also says, black folk don't desire all hands on deck situation, I'm afraid, right? EL says, I think China ought to be studied because they suckered the West by offering cheaper labor than everyone, and they took the technical knowledge from the West in the process. Yeah, I mean, look, people used to tell you, see, the difference between black folk and Chinese folk. I mean, again, the good thing Chinese have is that they have land. Okay, they have land. They have a lot of land, in fact. But they have loyalty to their nation. The issue I see with regard to folk in America is that when you don't have a nation, everything kind of just screws you over. It's like if I find out how to, make missiles, right, through an American educational system and all that kind of stuff, where do I go with that? Where do I go? See, if I'm Chinese, I go to China. If I'm Jamaican, I go to Jamaica. If I'm Angolan, I go to Angola. But if I'm African American, where would I go? Like where do I go? It was one of the things that bothered me because, again, like I said, when I was younger, I was under the impression I was African American, right? But one of the things that really bothered me was that, for instance, at the time, I learned something that was really interesting. Like, I wanted to patent it, like a mathematical formula. You guys can see it in the Book of Power, right? It's a nice mathematical formula, and I said to myself, what do I do with this? You want to patent something. Who do you go to? Who do you go to get your name in these math textbooks? Whose textbooks? At the end of the day, when you don't have a nation, right? Like essentially, even if you were smart, even if you were brilliant, if you were, I wouldn't put these words on myself, but, let's say you were a genius. Let's say you're a child genius, right? What do you do? Where do you go? There's going to be a lot of child geniuses you see, throughout, sprouting up across Africa. And all of them are told, oh, go over to the West. That's your best bet. Go over to China. Go over to Russia. Go over to somebody that could develop this. But we can't. We can't benefit from what you're doing. We still can't even feed ourselves. Go over to the people who've already known how to feed themselves. Don't stay with us. It's a sad position to be. But, it is what it is, right? Real Black Gentleman says, China also sent their kids to Western schools over the last century. Yeah, I mean, they did. And I'll tell you, I read about the Chinese spies in, always, getting military secrets and bringing them back to China. That's what you're supposed to do. But, they have a China to bring it back to. I keep telling us we have to just secure land for ourselves. We just secure space for ourselves. We have to secure nations for ourselves. And if that means working with certain nations that are existing right now, that might just be what it means. You might not be able to carve out land for yourself right now. But whatever it is, there's so much, we have to have something to bring it back to. Real Black Gentleman says, China sends its elites to learn from its rivals. Yep. EL says, I think China did what our master teachers have been telling us to do. Yeah, but see, our master teachers told us to do this without having a land base. That's the issue. we don't have anywhere to bring it to. If I, I'll tell y'all the truth. In physics, you learn how to make missiles. In fact, that's the, and you learn how to do missiles. Rocket science. Rocket science is basically, and it's not secret. It's not a secret. So don't start calling the police on me. But, basically Newton's theory, force equals mass times acceleration, right? It's not force equals mass times acceleration. Force equals the derivative of mass times velocity. Okay? Derivative of mass times velocity, if mass is fixed, is mass times acceleration. However, if mass is not fixed, then it's the derivative of math. It's the change in mass times velocity plus the mass times the change in velocity, mass times acceleration, right? So it's the matter of changing the mass of an object that also deals with its force. Now, of course, it's not all of the, it's not all rocket science, obviously. But what I'm basically explaining to you is that basic force equation is what white folk were using in order to, essentially propel these objects by burning their mass. You understand? By making them excrete their mass. That's common. Now, what does that mean? I tell you that. Who cares? What is that going to do for you? I go over to, if I have nowhere to go, if you have nowhere to go, it doesn't matter if you know. Our master teachers are telling us, hey man, you guys got it. No, what your master teacher should do is have somewhere for you to bring that knowledge. See, I want to be up in Africa, and then somebody comes through and says, "Hey, you know what? I could get y'all airplanes, or I can get y'all, robots, or I can get y'all artificial intelligence working here. I can get y'all servers and this, something. I can get y'all that. But if you know how to do it, but you got nobody to do it for, you got no community, no economy to do it for. Like it don't matter if you know." Some of y'all rewinding and saying, wait, hold on a second. What's that? Rocket science? Let me see this. Look, it don't matter. White boy told me. He was like, hey, man, you want to know something about rocket science? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? He's like, you ain't going to do nothing with it, stupid. I'm like, you sure you want me to know about rockets? He's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit if you know about rockets, stupid. You can't build a damn rocket. You ain't got no damn metal. You ain't got no oil. You ain't got no resources. You ain't got nothing. You ain't got no land. What you going to do with rocket science? All right. The concept of Pan-African nation, this is what needs to be developed so that people can have their allegiance to it. All our efforts have to be directed to serve this concept. Otherwise, we're a lot. Exactly. I mean, like I call us the Keru. That's what I want. But you have to have land. First rule is land. Okay. First rule is land. I think Malcolm said it. I think the other group said it. Free the land, free the land, free the land by any means necessary. And I'm not even saying that that's an authority. I'm just saying land. That's it. Get your land. Eo says yes. Without our nation, our talents will be wasted. Always. Azra says China has a nation. The Koreans have a nation. They can identify who is for and who is against a nation. At present, we are just independent blacks. And I mean, look, Africa has nations, but they're run by a Scotty. So again, like we go back to the revolutionary talk from earlier. Okay? Now, see, if I'm sitting down in the big chair, right? Or if one of you is sitting down in the big chair, and of course, I want you, if y'all sitting down in the big chair, I hope y'all read the Book of Power, as well as a pro-black perspective. I hope y'all read that before you sit in the big chair. But if you sit in the big chair, then suddenly it's like, hey, let me tell you about rocket science. And you say, yeah, go over there and work with them brothers right there. I'll get y'all what y'all need. But if none of y'all sit in the big chair, if I'm not sitting in the big chair, if none of us in the big chair, it don't matter. Because I just told y'all what it was. It don't matter. Says at the same time we suffer. Real Black Gentleman says, yes, others are TL2. We have to develop African nation theory. Not just theory, practice. And you got to practice it over land. And the thing is that it's not going to be easy. You could go to any land and people are going to be like, yeah, who the fuck are you? Why are you in the big chair? And sometimes, you might have to it depends. Why are you in the big chair? Because sometimes people are in the big chair because they decide to break somebody's neck. And I don't mean break someone's neck. I mean shoot a bullet in somebody's chest. But I'm just going to say break someone's neck to be a little bit less explicit. So it's like, why are you in a big chair? Did you shoot a bullet in someone's chest? You understand? Do the foreigners back you? Why are you in a big chair? Why would you be in the big chair? And this is the reality we're going to hit when we go into this quote unquote nation building practice. You know, are you in the big chair because you got the big wallet? Are you in the big chair because everybody worked for you? Are you in the big chair because you bringing something to them? Or are you just a broke woke? You know what I'm saying? I see Lero's back, so we're gonna start shitting on broke wokes again, right? You was a broke woke. You want to be in the big chair and you ain't got nothing. Your pockets turned inside out. You know? You want to be in the big chair. See, I think you guys should start doing this. How are we gonna do that? What are we gonna do that with? Well, I think you guys should start building rockets and tanks. How? What we gonna do? How we gonna do that? You know, you came to this village and you think we're gonna start building rockets and tanks because you asked for it. Get your black ass. We need a wake up call. Okay. Real black. Let me hurry up with this. Real black gentleman says deconstruct colonial territorialism. Yep. Territorialism. Arthur George says, I think we need to learn from the Jews. They organized before they had a land, and they took over a land. We need to do the same. Organize with an ideology, then make the land play. I mean, yeah. I mean, the thing about them is, I don't really know. Maybe they technically had the land before. I don't know if they actually ever had the land, honestly. But yeah, they definitely planned well in advance for the land grab. You know, they definitely planned well in advance. But they prospered after the land. You know, I mean, they already were prospering. I'm not going to say they didn't prosper in other people's countries, but that could always go awry, is the thing. You know? And they were kind of like, you know, low key, you know, people didn't like them because they were plotting for land seizure. Nobody wants you to seize their land. But yeah, I mean, definitely, you know, you can learn from anybody. I realized, you know, you can learn from anybody. And of course, you know, you always do lead with theory before you take action. But the issue with us as a people is that our theory goes back, you know, hundreds of years. You know? And the reality is that we're not even reading theory anymore. You know, I mean, like I said, you know, I print the book, and it's like, hey, why should I read your book? I've already read Dr. Clark. I've already read Dr. Wilson. I've already read Chancellor Williams. You know? Why should I read your book? So it's like, you know, at some point, you might have read enough. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of us liked Umar, was his appearance in, somebody did make me watch Hidden Colors, right? So the first Hidden Colors, I only saw the first one, but, you know, Dr. Umar was in that DVD or whatever, and he was like, we always have books. We always reading books, and we already have enough knowledge. We got a book on everything. And it's like, yeah, you know, he has a point. Like me personally, I don't recommend but like a handful of books. I wouldn't go past 20 black authors. If you wanted to add some white authors and Asian authors, then I might add another 20 books. But I would just stop at 40 books in that case. I think the thing with us is that and here's another thing too, is that a lot of us aren't even about like even books. We're just like dialoguing. For like, oh yeah, you know, how we're gonna take the land. And it's like, just go and take it. Like, you should know by now. And if you don't know by now, then you should be reading and then you'll figure it out. But like I said, a lot of us are just, you know, like let's be honest, a lot of us are Pan-Africanists. You know? A lot of us are just, you know, Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, that's it. And the thing is, the trouble is that Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben didn't really have the land. You know? A lot of our ancestors did not have the land. You know, you could say Nyere and them, sure. But a lot of the other ones didn't have the land. And we have to take that into account as well. And then we also have to say that for ourselves. One of the reasons why I'm not even like pushing if I acquire land, or when I acquire land, right? If I ever sit in the big seat or near the big seat, right? Then my book might actually sell out. You understand? But that's why I don't even stress it too much. Because I say to myself, look, real talk, like nobody cares about the talk. Real talk. Because it's not real talk. All right. Real black gentleman says, but we have the land, we just don't own it. Yeah, I mean, okay, like this Scotty. At least we can't exploit it to our ends, right? He also says, we have the piece of the puzzle, but the nation let us bring them together to complete the puzzle. Yup. Africa needs a Singapore. Yup. I would say we don't have land. The Pan-African Nation, those who have this ideology do not have land. Otherwise, we would have a place to go. Exactly. Right? We have the Askari have land. Real black gentleman says, we need on God bona fide financial capital city. Yeah, I mean, we need a city. Yeah. Lero, although I don't know why I said the G word. But all right. Lero says, we got nations, just no national loyalty. I mean, yeah, I mean, we have people loyal to these nations, but we shouldn't be loyal to those nations. A lot of these nations. Now, there might be a nation that we should be loyal to, okay? Or there might be a nation that we could slip in and impact others. You know, it's really just a matter of where you feel you can go to be safe to get something done. You know? Levero says, those who without can join those nations or wallow in whatever kind of ethnic inferiority excuse. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. He also says, revolution is based on land. Land is the basis of all independence. Land is the basis of freedom, justice, and equality. And that was Malcolm X. He was quoting Malcolm X. Lero says, that broke old Turk gonna make me act up. Well, you better act up. Shit. You know? We can't. Because I tell you, that was one of the things that first thing, so I have this organization, y'all know, African Blood Siblings, once upon a time, right? And one of the core tenets I had was that, like, it was based off of it was saying membership advantages its members. No, sorry, organization advantages its members, or its misorganization. You know, like if your members do not benefit from being in your organization, then you're misorganizing them. You know, and this was written in light of the Black Panther model. The Black Panthers, because when I heard Fred Hampton's son, you know, tell us that Fred Hampton and his mother would feed the neighbor kids, you know, to go out and feed the neighbor kids, but didn't have any food in their own house. They couldn't feed Fred Hampton Jr. You know? Like they were just giving. It's like, that's not a feasible model. People don't want to be a part of that. You know, one of the reasons why these Ascari are doing what they're doing is because they are benefiting. If the Ascari were not benefiting, they wouldn't do it. You know, if you want to organize people, you have to benefit them. The question is, back to the before, why is it that you're in the big C? You know? And to a large extent, it's because you are benefiting other people. Of course, you could also not be harming other people, right? That's another reason. But it's the benefit-harm dichotomy. And those are one of the most important dichotomies in war or in life. How do you benefit others? How do you harm others? You know? Because sometimes you do have to harm others. And that's just a fact. Kenneth says, black nations are still not independent due to the misleadership. Apart from Eritrea, all African nations in Africa and the Caribbean are U.S. satellites or vassal states. The Jews had British imperial backing. They would not be able to conquer the land without imperial power. We need one black hegemon to turn the tables on neocolonialism. Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing to realize too. Jews really couldn't do anything. They really couldn't do anything. I remember, I tell you all this all the time, but at one time accidentally talking to this descendant of a Jew, right? He's like a grandson of a Jew. But he was supposedly like mixed or something. And he was like, look, I'll be honest with you. Now I asked him, I said, what could the Jews have done against Nazi Germany? And he's like, nothing. They couldn't do anything against Nazi Germany. Nothing. If the British and if the Russians didn't save them, they would have been wiped out. If the Russians didn't save them, they would have been wiped out. And so like even this idea of let's follow their model of like they actually got the land from the British. You know? Like it's not even like per se, we have this great idea and it's going to come into fruition. It's like literally they had this great idea and they were going to be wiped off the fucking planet. Or at least wiped out of Germany. Or possibly wiped off the fucking planet, honestly. If Germany won. You know, so it's like ideas are not all there is. You know, and it's very unlikely that we're going to get British imperial backing. Just FYI, it's very, very unlikely. Well, at least for me. I don't know about y'all, but like, British ain't trying to back me for nothing. You know what I'm saying? They try to back me into a, yeah, all right. Anyway, look. Leto says, we treat theory like dogma and wonder why we get nowhere. Yeah, that's facts. Real Black Gentleman says, that one black hegemon that has yet to rise. Yeah. Kenneth says, true, religion did this to us. We're not ready to kill or die for a nation. Yeah, and I mean, like, yeah, you got to definitely kill for a nation, man. You know, Real Black Gentleman says, Mali may have been the last great African kingdom. Kenneth says, that's why we need black nationalism to take root in one African nation. Yep. And then Astro says, we don't have nations, we have borders. Becoming a Kenyan, a Nigerian, or a Ghanaian doesn't solve a single problem. Yep. Astro says, commentary on why we can't learn from the Jews is not productive. Grab what you can and move on. We know that we are not the same. The point is we develop the movement and then acquire. Yeah, I mean, look, you can learn from everybody. You're supposed to try to learn from everybody, or all the time. But, yeah, ultimately, though, it goes back to what the ancient Egyptians used to say. Uncle Jasaneb Neb. I say it at the end of the, Uncle Jasaneb. I said at the end of the podcast, right? Ankh Ujasaneb. Life, wealth, and health. That's what I wish on you guys. Life, wealth, and health. Okay? But you gotta improve all three of these. You gotta improve your life, you gotta improve your wealth, and you gotta improve your health. When you have those three, life gets a little better for you. Okay? Author Joyce says, commentary. Oh yeah. EL says, I think books are crucial because there are opportunities we can't even see without sufficient consciousness. White people are always bring obscure, life-changing books to the attention of a wider audience, but books are not enough. I mean, look, books, what I realize is books are good for study. You know? The university system is just a bunch of book reading. You know, with lecturers. You know, you read a lot of books in university. A lot of us read a lot of books in university. But the reason why we do that is because we understand there's an economy that we could integrate with. That's why we did it. But books are good. Like, I realize books are how people disseminate to this day. They disseminate information to this day. You know, there's very few, like maybe in the future there might be universities that are just YouTube lectures. I don't know. It's doubtful, but I don't know. I mean, it's possible. I'll even say it might be likely. I don't know. But what I'll tell you is that the ruling class of today got through that through books. And I'm encouraging us to join the ruling class of our own people through books. You know? And I'm going to give you all a short list of books. And yeah, I wrote, you know, a good number of them. But, you know, that's because I'm trying to be direct and real with you. You know, I'm not trying to give y'all no, like all respect to our ancestors. But a lot of times we were just fantastical. You know, we were like, hey, if black people just make a national organization. How you going to make a national organization in another man's nation? How you going to do that? You're going to make a global, we're going to go into the Ukrainian thing right soon. But, like, you saw them turn off the fucking internet on these Russians. And I told y'all they could do that to you. I said, yeah, man. They're like, yeah, man, all we got to do is go blah, blah, blah. I'm like, they will just turn off the fucking internet. You're like, hey, man, we could do crypto. They'll just take off your fucking wallets. They will do that. They can do that. And y'all still on this, nah, man, I'm telling you, man, we could get... Shit. Tell you, man, some of y'all, man, I tell you, man, like, we would throw down in real life. No, I'm joking. I would. I'm not really joking. I would throw down, but I know some of y'all, you know, some of y'all gonna start lifting weights. All right. Anyway. All right. Arthur John says, they infiltrated the British. We have to infiltrate with an objective. Instead, we integrate with no agenda. Nah, we no agenda. Because we got no, like I said, like a lot of times, what we are passing around as knowledge and information. And I mean, this is like the best of us. Because, like, this was one of the things, I mean, I'll tell y'all, he's on my list. On my list of the books you got to read once a year is Chancellor Williams, Destruction of Black Civilization. But even I remember the first time I read it, and you get to this part where he starts doing his recommendations, and he's like, you got to do a national organization, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, that's never going to happen. And Amos Wilson did the same thing, and I'm like, that's never going to happen. You can't have this sort of organization in the middle of a fucking America. It's not going to happen. And lo and behold, it never does. But as long as we keep telling ourselves, look, this is what we need to do. We need to do this. 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 And it's always something that's just not practical. You're going backwards. You're never going to move forward if you're always trying to do something that's impractical. Like if you're always trying to pray for good health, you're never going to get, if that's all you're doing, you're never going to get good health. That's all you're doing. If you eating ho-hos and 7-layered cake, and then you praying for a good figure, like you just gonna have a ho-ho and 7-layered cake figure. It's really about being realistic. It's really about being realistic. EL says, just like the brain needs muscles to be effective. Yeah. Books are not enough, but just like the brain needs muscles to be effective, Exactly. You need a body. Others said books are a part of education. They are essential. Education is the foundation to developing the ideology and practices that will launch a Pan-African nation. Education to cement this ideology. We need an international movement that ascribes to an ideology. Yeah. I mean, look, this is why, like I said, this is why I just need to, cause see, I'm y'all might not believe it, but I'm actually good with people. And this is why I need to just go out and be among the people. Anyway, so this right here, this one's the next one. It says, you ain't build America. This was something that got me saying bumper clap. Okay, I don't usually say bumper clap too much, but I had to. Look at this. Look, this is another enemy within. People talk about the black origin of Egypt and building pyramids, but hell, the descendants of American freedmen, black Americans, built a civilization greater than ancient Egypt. It's called the United States. So this was actually one of the things I really had to touch on really quickly. So this is another image I want to show y'all. So this is Catherine Young. I'm surprised I don't follow. All right. So she shared this image. Whoever thinks we've come a long way hasn't looked back far enough. I want y'all to understand. That America's not better than ancient Egypt. 1, 2, you ain't build America. Right? And 3, what I want to say is this. Your position in America is worse than what your position would have been in ancient Egypt. I mean, essentially, you talking about being, like as he said, like a slave in America and thinking that you better off than a free people. One of the worst things, I mean, unfortunately, being enslaved in the West is a very unfortunate circumstance. A very, very unfortunate circumstance. There's this, like I said, all Western philosophy is a footnote to Plato, right? So there's this, Plato's mentor is named Socrates. Socrates has this quote, I can't remember how it goes exactly, but he says, I'd rather be a slave of a slave than an ignorant person, something like that. But the idea is that the worst thing he could think of is being a slave of a slave. And you're saying, and you're bragging, and then here you are saying, hey, look, I might have 2% of the wealth of this nation. 3% maybe. And a lot of that concentrated in entertainers, right? But I might have 3% of the wealth of this nation, right? None of the capital, or very little of the capital. Very little of the mass communication networks, very little of political decision, very, very little. I'm just a population in a nation. But that's better than a nation that lasted for 300 years. 3,000 years. So America probably lasted 300 years. Ancient Egypt lasted maybe 3,000 years, and I'm not saying that it never went through its ups and downs, its ebbs and flows. But, to go from a people that introduced into the wider world at least, writing, science, mathematics, song, government, so on and so forth, and say that out of your African mind. This is the ABA, by the way. This is the Anything But Africans. And I'm supposed to edit this page just to, this is the Anything But Africans. I want y'all to understand that. I just want to go back and just show y'all, because I mean, it's just like bomba clot. This is, and I mean, I shouldn't say that's the enemy of the week, but yeah, that's like, it had me cursing. I know some of y'all like, hey, that's not the best, that's not the worst thing in the world, but now here I'm gonna actually quote to y'all. I look like maybe an Arab, right? I try not to give y'all Arabs and so forth, but this is a black man saying, now I understand the Great Wall of China. And so this is the Arabs picture. The Arabs, this is the communication they're saying. And I'll read it to y'all quick, fast. Hussein says, and he's building a Web3, he's a founder of some sort of thing. I'm not really interested in promoting him, I'm just letting y'all know. He says, globalization is dead. Every country has seen how global brands like Visa, MasterCard, Uber, Airbnb, PayPal, Google, and Apple have effectively cut off a nation, population 145 million people, the 10th largest economy in the world. Okay? None of the ATM machines work. International transfers does not work. All debit cards suddenly stopped working. Transportation and logistics is clogged, and more. If I was a national leader, and of course, you gotta use the subjunctive. I'm letting y'all know a little English. You use the subjunctive, so it's if I were a national leader. But anyway, if I were a national leader, I would start to take dependence on foreign tech companies as a sign of strategic weakness and quickly work on a plan on promoting local champions as de facto alternatives. The weaponization of tech is a massive threat to sovereignty, and any leader who is not taking note is doing their country a disservice. Now look at this. This is just a random ass, Indian bourgeoisie. Now, of course, Indian or Arab, I don't know. But, who knows, right? Anyway, but let's say Arab. Random Arab bourgeoisie. Now, of course, he's in the perfect position to advocate for his nation, to advocate for indigenous tech companies, because he's a founder of a tech company. Okay, obviously. So he's like, hey, look, shit, this is actually a strategic weakness. Why don't we, all the same. He's right. And see, that's the difference I want to say with these other people. Because like I said, like Officer Joe was pointing out earlier, you can learn from any group. We don't got to say you can learn from the Jews. You can learn from anybody. I can learn from this motherfucker. Okay? One thing you notice about this guy is he's in the right position. See, because I could have said the same, like we said the same shit in Black America, but we don't got nothing. And we don't even have a fucking nation to even say, don't depend on foreigners. Like, we're depending on the foreigners. Like, we can't tell America, hey, don't depend on the foreign, because America's like, yeah, I'm not depending on the foreigners, stupid. You the foreigner, dumbass. You think you ABA? No, you everything. You EBA. You everything. No. That don't work. I'm talking about grammar, right? All right, you're not ABA, you EA. You everything African. You know what I'm saying? Like, you a fucking foreigner, stupid. You there trying to talk about you foundational. No, fool. You a foreigner like everybody else. It's not about who's on the land. It's about who runs the nation. I know I was telling y'all, yeah, you got to get the land. Yeah, you have to get the political structure over the fucking land. I don't mean to curse, but what I mean is this. I go down to Africa and I'm sitting in the big chair. It don't matter if I'm indigenous. I'm in the big chair. It don't matter. Like Kamala Harris come out of nowhere and she's now vice president. It don't matter that her ancestry is from India and Jamaica. Nobody cares. She in a big seat now. Or, the seat next to the big seat. But the point being that you when I say get the land, I'm talking about get your black ass in the big seat. You got to see where you can be in the big seat. See this dude right here, Hussein? He navigating to whatever country it is. I want to say India, right? But let's say he's in the Arab land or whatever, right? Let's just make up a country for this dude, right? He's now pivoting for the government to put some money into his business. Now, when the government puts some money in his business, and his business grows, and his business is hiring, and his business is now, multi billions or whatever, right? He starts telling the government what to do. He's now sitting down shaking hands with the person in the big seat. He now could possibly be in the big seat. That's strategy. Not us. How we do it, we're like, yeah, man, we shouldn't, we got to watch out for Google. We got to watch out for PayPal. We got to watch out for Uber. We got to watch out for Airbnb. We got to watch out for MasterCard. We got to watch out for Visa. Then you look at their wallet. Visa. You look at their internet activity. Google. You look at their phone. Apple. You look at where they staying. Airbnb. You look at how they moving. Uber. You looking at how they send money abroad. PayPal. Why? Because it don't matter if you say anything if you don't act it. Don't matter if you say something and you don't act it. See this white boy, this Eurasian right here? At least he could be like, well, yeah. They weaponize the tech. Come. Weaponize me. And when I'm a weapon, I'm going to turn against you. I'm going to turn against you too. But at least I'm one of you. You understand? And I'm turning against you only because you was cooling from jump. But I hope y'all understand this. Like I said, you can learn from anybody. I'm not going to dismiss learning from anybody. And see, the thing is that I try to learn from a broader range of people, but y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all don't want to hear that. Let's see what the comments are. Okay, so comments are running. By the way, I appreciate all of y'all. I appreciate all y'all for coming through. I got 12 current viewers, 12 likes. Okay, never mind. 12 just jumped down to 9, but still. I got 9 of y'all, 12 likes. I appreciate that. Would not expect that for me, but I appreciate y'all for that. All right. We need an international movement that scratches the ideology. Keta says, true, bro. Never could you create a radical movement within the empirical core. Asada and the BLM tried that and knew this meant war. BLM or... Oh, Black Liberation Movement. Yeah, okay. I was like, Black Lives Matter? What the... All right. Lero says, we got to understand the importance of nation first and foremost. Who's to say the Ascati and the masses within won't sabotage our nationalism if these same folk are neglectful of the nation they are? Of course they will. Lero, you gotta bash heads. You gotta bash heads. Nobody's gonna. There's somebody in the chair. Somebody in the big chair right now. Nobody in the big chair is just going walk away from it. They're not in the big chair because they punks. Okay, they're not in the big chair because they punks. You gotta think of it like the gang leaders. The gang leader's not running he's not the leader of the fucking gang because he's a punk. Because you come along with a good idea and he's like, that's a good idea. How about you sit here? I was just keeping it warm for you. That's not no, these motherfuckers are gonna kill. These motherfuckers are gonna try to kill you. If you don't want to get your hands wet with blood, just stay in America. That's it. Just stay in the West. But if you understand the people in Africa are your brothers and sisters. And you might be like, hey, I just want to kill this white boy. Okay, well then, don't worry about going to Africa to go kill white boys. If you want to kill a white boy, just I mean, shit, there's a lot of ways. Shit, I mean, you could just weave through traffic. It don't matter. I mean, that might hurt you too, but I'm just saying, there's a lot of ways to do that. You know what I mean? You don't got to go to Africa to kill white folk, but you got to realize that, what I mean. I'm not saying you want to kill your brothers and sisters. I'm not saying you want to kill your Scott. I'm not going to say that because I'm trying to get to Africa myself. You know what I mean? But we have to understand that a lot of these Ascati are killing people to secure their situation. Y'all know that Thomas Sankara didn't just fall on his head. Lumumba didn't just, fall down a flight of stairs one day. You know what I mean? And when Mobutu is sitting in his seat, it wasn't because, Mobutu just happened to ask Patrice Lumumba nicely. You understand? So yeah, it's not that. There's no who's to say whether the Ascari won't sabotage. The Ascari are supposed to try to sabotage you. If they don't sabotage you, then something's wrong. You gotta go to Africa to fight. That's it. You gotta know that you're going for a fight. And if somebody ain't fighting you, then it was too easy. Someone wasn't fighting you. When you rush in the palace and nobody fighting you, you got to do a whole bomb check. Because there's a trap somewhere. These people ain't holding on power without no force. Come on, like the state is monopoly of force. They're not holding on to power. Like you gotta understand. That's why I personally, I say to myself, like, sometimes I'm like, yo, I don't think I'm gonna grow to be too old. That's why I call myself old now. Cause see, I'm about it. You know, and the only thing I don't like about being about it is that I can't prove it while I'm in the West. That's why I want to go to Africa. Now, of course, you know, like I tell y'all, I say it out loud. I say, look, I might go to the country I'm not trying to do nothing to. You know? I might go to the country so that I could organize stuff for the next country. And I'm just saying that. And I mean, I actually mean it, you know. but I'm just saying, like, you know, sometimes you don't go directly to the battlefield. You know? But you set up a base so that you could launch the battles from the base. Just an FYI. Arthur George said the Jamaican, the British, and American, a Brazilian who sees the need for a black Pan-African nation needs to have a place to go to. Exactly. Lero says the inferiority complex got to be combated. Cultural and revolutionary national. Again, look, it's inferiority complex, but it's also they getting paid. I'll be like the. I remember one of these Askari talking about like Askari. All right, I'll say it this way. Askari get paid like $300,000 a year in Africa. Okay, $300,000 a year in Africa. All right, that's what they do. They get paid $300,000 a year in Africa. Now that might not be a lot to some of you. Okay, but what I'm gonna tell you is that in Africa, that's a lot of money. Now you could get that kind of money in America, sometimes, some ways, right? But that's what they getting. Base pay with side of promotion, as long as they stop your black ass. They get bonuses every time they put a bullet in one of your heads. That's what you gotta understand about your enemy. That's what you gotta understand about your enemy. Arthur George says we cannot be lost in the fight against, or of course we have to acknowledge it. But far more important is the fight for. People need to know and believe in what they are fighting for. I mean, look, I'll say it this way. I want to actually add to that. On the African Blood Siblings Quartet, one of them was something like impoverishment. Shit. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it. I'm surprised I don't remember my own damn. Okay, so prosperity, independence, and community is the removal of impoverishment, dependency, and individualism. Okay? That was the African Blood Siblings Quartet. What this means is this. That nobody is poor as much as people are impoverished. Now, I won't say that that's actually true per se. That's how I was thinking at the time. But what I want to say is that there are people who are actively trying to impoverish you. The Askari are actively trying to impoverish their community. The Askari are actively saying, like for instance, the guy, there's this one gentleman, not gentleman, I shouldn't say gentleman, there's a politician in Congo who's rich. Like, when I said $300,000, he's making millions, right? He's making millions of dollars selling coltan to the West, okay? So he's running the mines that's selling coltan in the West. He's surrounded by bodyguards, okay, all the time, right? And they will readily put a bullet in anybody's head who's trying to stop him from being the person, the go-between, or from running the mines in Congo to sell those minerals to the West. Okay? He will readily put a bullet in anyone's head that's trying to do that. So when we say we're fighting for, right, you know, instead of fighting against, you got to realize that the guy whose organization, right, you know, basically a gang leader, if you will, right, but the guy who's, he's a politician though, so, you know, gang leader basically, right? But what he, like, he's going to defend his stuff. He's going to defend his stuff. And you can say, I'm fighting for us having control of our resources, but he's not going to let you. There's no part of him that wants to cede control of these mines to you. And what does he do on those mines? He has a whole fucking city. I don't mean to curse so much, but my son's not here. If y'all sons is here, I'm sorry. This is a cursing episode. He has a whole city where black folk are working pennies on the dollar. They're working for pennies to save up to move, but they can't. And they're being born into this poverty where there's no roads being built and nothing's being developed. And the guy's just walking around with the bag. And they're going down risking their lives and risking their children's lives to pick up this coltan so that you and I could talk over the internet. So yeah, I mean, like we're definitely fighting for something, but you got to understand that there's people that you're gonna have to fight against, right? Real Black Gentleman says, yeah, Africa is weak on tech. Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of tech was developed here, you know. Real Black Gentleman says, at the whims of who and whatever. I mean, China hacked the AU building, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, China built the AU building and left recording devices. Because why not? Why the fuck did you ask me to build this thing for free? I mean, of course I'm going to leave recording devices. What's wrong with you? Apparently somebody was saying that there was one time this... No, we're not going to go into that. All right. Afrojan says, Nefertiti and Akhenaten were anti-Kemet and pro-Eurasian. Funny image in many ways, even though it's truthful. Oh, yeah. Akhenaten was the thing. Lero says, it's not about us being punks. No, not us being punks. I'm saying they not punks. Let's not act like the position is the popular one. Who are we recruiting for this army? Why should they join? Nah, Lero, I wasn't saying that we were punks. I'm saying that the people who we're up against are not punks. You know what I mean? So I was not saying we were punks. I'm saying that, I'm saying that you got to be ready. When you asking who's to say whether they're going to sabotage us, of course they're going to sabotage us. Like I said, the guy, there's a documentary of this dude in the Congo. He's not trying to lose that position. Or I think in that same documentary, I'm not too sure. There's another documentary of the Congo where there's this pastor who's selling poison, some poison to people saying it's a cure. He's not trying to make you come along and be like, no, that's not unscientific, or that's harmful to people. Nobody wants you to cut into their pockets, not in no desperate poor area. I can't go to no drug dealer. I mean, not saying I can't, but I'm just saying, if you go to a drug dealer and say, you guys gonna have to stop selling drugs in this area, right? They're not going to be like, well, yes, sir. Have a nice day. Sorry, I didn't think of it that way. If the economy is that desperate, no. Now, if you open up a factory and you give them a good job and you give them a good position, and they say, hey, you know what? Maybe I might not make as much money, but I'll make a good living and it's not as risky and the cost, the benefits outweigh the cost, right? Sure, I'll give up drugs to do this. That's different. But if you're going up to these gangbangers with nothing, you saying, look, man, I'm going to slap the drugs out of your hand. You ain't never going to sell no drugs here again. Right? You're just going to be hanging up. You're going to have your head on a pike. You know what I'm saying? People ain't, a lot of human control is based off of violence. And if we're the only people that don't want violence, we're also the only people that don't want human control. Y'all can put that on a shirt. By the way, make sure y'all remember that you can get some t-shirts down at the on the link below. Represent. All right. So anyway, EL says you must become like your natural enemies, cruel and merciless. Jean-Jacques Dessalines, and did the Haitian flag and the fist. Real Black Jenny says we can't win wars but lose peace. We can't win wars but lose peace. And I'll say this, and this is like I said, you can learn from white boys too, right? This is it's this white boy in Northern Africa. Right, his name is Saint Augustine, right, or Augustine or whatever, right? But he's a saint or something like that. Anyway, he says, you can have peace without war, but you can't have war without some kind of peace. So you could have peace without war. There could be no war going on, but every war is based off of achieving some type of peace. So the question becomes, what is the peace that you're trying to accomplish? If the peace you're trying to achieve is just to live somewhere in Africa, right? While this person has control of the mines, and this person has, is selling poison to good folk who happen to believe in some European, Christian mythology, right? If that's what your peace is, then sure, you don't have to go to war. But if you're over the poisoning our own people, if you're over the enslaving of our people, if you're over children dying in mines for nothing, then you got to go to war. You know? Because the other people are not over it. Because if they were over it, they wouldn't be doing it. The aftermath matters. Real Black Journalist says the aftermath matters. Arthur says, what I'm saying is that when you develop a base in that coltan mining region, who know who they are, when he kills one, there are many replacements. If we fight against before the base is strong, when he kills one, there are many replacements, yeah. Then when those fighters are killed, no infrastructure is left to continue the fight. That is what I mean by fighting for. Yes, we will win it, fight against. You got to fight the whole team. Yeah, you got to fight. You gotta fight the whole team, and you gotta fight the mentality, of course. But you gotta fight. You gotta, like, at the end of the day, you gotta fight people. It's like Khalid Muhammad was saying about, it's not the spider. No, it's not the web. It's the spider. It's not white people. It's like when we say it's not the system. It's white people. It's not white people. It's the system. And it's like, no, it's actually just white people. Like, ultimately, the human experience is just a bunch of humans experiencing something, and we fight each other. We're violent with each other. Like I might say this stuff one day, the wrong person hears me, and they're just gonna if I'm not, if I'm not cognizant, they might just shoot me, and that's it. I'm not saying anything else. That's it, and that's just the reality of this world. Like, you could live in a way where you just don't say anything, and you just go along with it. You go along to get along. That was one of my poems. We go along to get along with a song of forgiveness. A strong people would fight wrong, but you go along with it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you want to go along to get along, or do you want something good? Do you want peace? What is peace? Is peace going along to get along? If it is, then just shut the fuck up. You don't have to listen to this podcast. This podcast ain't for you. If this is peace, in fact, y'all make sure y'all check out the Pro Black Compendium, because that was another poem I had. In the Pro Black Compendium. Let me see, is that one of the free poems? Let me see if that's one of the free poems, because that was a good poem. Technically, at this point, since the book don't sell, I might as well everything be free, right? I keep talking about book not selling. I shouldn't do that. Damn, is it not one of the free? But let me see if I can find. But there's this poem called Peace. I really liked it. I wrote it like 10 years ago. I used to be a poet. Yeah, I'll probably read it to y'all. Hold on. Oh no, I read it already. It's on the YouTube. But yeah, it's like you got to understand that, like, what they call peace is what you see around you. As it just says, your analogy on the dealer is on point. When we fight for that's developing the factory in the area rather than just going up to the drug dealer and getting shot, for developers for the community. Yeah, I mean, you if you're trying to convert them, that is. If you're not trying to convert them, then you could just shoot them. But the thing is that's how they do it. That's how they got into power. Because see, before the drug dealer came around, there was other drug dealers. You understand? And the conditions for the drug dealing is that the economy is weak. It's like judged by cause, not by effect. The drug dealer does not create the weak economy. The economy was already weak. The Westerner comes along and says, if you want to make some money, just traffic these drugs to your people. Make your people stupid. Make your people want to fight each other. Make your people aggressive. Make your people depressed. Make your people useless. And you'll get some money. That's white boy comes along. The police bring the drugs in. But they know the conditions are already made because black folk don't have no economy. Now, can the black folk create an economy in the West? Possibly not. Possibly not. I mean, it would take, if they wanted to, and they had the information, sure, they probably could, but who's going to give them the information? It's like, I have this article going back on the African Blood Siblings website, and it's like, there are white communities in America and other countries that just make their own currency. They just make their own currency because it's legal. You can make your own currency and circulate within your community and promote, your local economy, right? And they do this. But, who knows about that shit? I mean, sure, I wrote it down in an article, but who the fuck looks at my website? And that's why I say it goes back to land, because the reality is this: even if you said you want to get land inside of the West, you have to have a community where you do it. Like we talk about learning from the Jews. I'll tell you this: every Jewish neighborhood has a weekly meeting, a weekly meeting house, a weekly public house. In Africa, there's the phrase "Boko Vata Dikanda and Bongo Diafra," right? Vata Dikanda and Bongo Diafra, right? And what that means is that a village without a community center is dead, right? That people need a place where they can talk their public grievances together. They communicate their public grievances. The disadvantage we have right here on the internet is that none of us are local. Or even if some of us are local, we're not local in the sense of being able to organize among our community. What other people do is that they are local to each other. They don't go on the internet to talk about their problems. They go to their neighbors to talk about their problems. They go to their neighbors to talk about their problems. When you go to your neighbors to talk to you about your problems instead of the internet, right, your neighbors can help you out. I'm not going to say the internet can't help you out. I'm not going to say the internet can't help you out. But I'm saying your neighbors can directly help you out. Where it's like, if I say, hey, look, I want somebody to teach my kid math, right? My neighbor could do that. Not to say that you can't teach math digitally, but, y'all instead of trying to see what I'm saying and how to poke at it, what I want you to understand is why I'm saying it. When I say land, it's about now you have a local community. Now you have local, you have neighbors you can engage in. As opposed to now where you don't. Where you're going online to find a solution for yourself. This is why I'm always about local organization. I'm always about local organization. Part of the reason why I even have social media is just to be on YouTube, really. But I've always been about local organization. And that's what I encourage among our people. That's why I tell you, go get your land. Now, you could do that in the West if you want to. What I'm telling you is, for me personally, I think I want to have my neighbors being on the continent. Okay? Learning curve says weak economies make weak people. That's it. Let's keep going. So all right. So this one's a little bit more on a humorous note. Well, I'm gonna say this right here. This boy sounds suicidal. Okay? I'm gonna just say this. This is, by the way, this is in the mangina section, so you already know who this suicidal person sounds like. And of course, you shouldn't joke about suicide. At least that's what they tell us. And no, you shouldn't. But this motherfucker sounds suicidal.
I am not suicidal. That's what I was about to say.
Okay.
I am not suicidal.
Okay.
I am not suicidal. I am innocent, and I am not suicidal. If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist in the fears of Black Americans in this country for over 400 years and the fears of the LGBTQ community. Your Honor, I respect you and I respect the jury, but I did not do this. And I am not suicidal. And if anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself. And you must all know that. I respect you, Your Honor. I respect your decision. Jail time. I am not suicidal.
Okay. Mr. Uche.
Your Honor, that I am not suicidal. That's what I was about to say.
Okay.
All right, so like I said, he kind of, he sounds suicidal. Nah, I'm just messing. It's just mangina stuff. But look, I mean, like I said, you can learn from anything. Here's the issue, right? I mean, this is the reality of the American situation, to be honest. This is the reality of the American situation. And I mean, even Asad Shakur would tell you that black folk suddenly committing suicide in prison is a thing. And not to say that they're really committing suicide, they're obviously being killed. Or maybe they are, some people might be committing suicide, obviously. But the point being that, this is one of the reasons why I tell y'all, like, I'm not really about it. Not to say that, and the thing is this, American prison is not better than, I mean, it might be, American prison might be better than African prison. You know what I mean? American prison, you might get something to eat. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I mean, this is just the reality. Like, the reality is that at the end of the day, there's a power structure wherever you're going to be. Wherever you are, there's a power structure. And the only question is, how are you engaging with this power structure? What do you think about this power structure? And what can you accomplish within this power structure? You know? So yeah, that's it. So yeah, like, but this power structure right here is this white power structure that's really just about securing and emboldening white power. And what we would want is a black power structure that's about securing and emboldening black power. And it's not here. And can you install it here? Very unlikely. Very unlikely, because at the end of the day, they're going to arrest you, and you're going to be here saying, I'm not suicidal. Now, of course, this is Jussie Smollett, you know. So it's like, I kind of don't care, but that's because I don't really care about celebrities. But anyway, that's just, you know, that really wasn't really necessary to diverge. I just, you know, wanted to share with y'all. Author says, we can have community centers before we have land. Yeah, definitely. You definitely want to have community centers. The thing is this, the community centers help you get the land. And this is why that's why, you know, my plan of, you know, I tell y'all inside of, well, I mean, community center and land are like kind of like one and the same, you know? Not let's say one and the same per se, but like, you want land to set up your community center. You get what I'm saying? That is, if your community center is a physical entity, right? So that's really the core of it. That's why in my book, you know, we talk about Boko Waset Nakero, right? And Boko is that community center. Okay? So the first step is community center, but of course, you'd want a community center on some sort of land. And then your community has a center. But if you do not have a center for your community, because everything has a center. And if you do not have a center for a community, it means you don't have a community. You understand? But yeah, so I mean, like, can you have a community center before you have land, or can you have a land before you, like realistically speaking, it's like a simultaneous act. But when I say have land, I mean, like, consider what land you want to be in. Like I said, you could do this in America, but then you're going to, on paper, commit suicide in prison if you get caught, which you tend to get caught. Like I said, I used to be a part of this organization. The lawyer who's running the organization, he was debarred. Just debarred. That's it. Like, for doing nothing. Like just debarred. And there was this other, and I tell y'all about the sister who was a teacher, and she was just teaching the black kids to be proud of themselves. And they took away her teaching license. Like she didn't do anything. She was just out one day. The substitute white boy was telling these black students to perform and act out a play, and they didn't want to do the play he was suggesting, because he was like, all right, you're going to be the drug dealer, and you're going to be the thing. And they were like, nah, I'm black and proud and African. I'm not going to play this role, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, and he was like, who told you that? He's like, oh, this was Miss, whatever. And then they were like, oh, yeah, really? And later on, she's fired. Like, white people don't have to entertain you. Like they put you in positions, they certify you in positions. In order, like, the certification just means that you are good to serve them. And as soon as you prove that you're not good to serve them, you can't serve them anymore. And that's just common sense. It's like if I had a white boy in the middle of, he's like, hey, I know engineering, and I engineered a way to kill a bunch of black folk. I'm not gonna say, well, keep your job, you're still an engineer. You know what I'm saying? like what? Or I'm a teacher and I taught white people to hate you and hate everything about you and destroy you. Okay, well, you might have the certification for being a teacher, but obviously you're not going to teach in my country. And again, it's the flip side. This is the reality of the world. So yeah, Althusser says that requires that we recognize each other as belonging to a particular nation. I often think we should resurrect and invigorate the UNA. UNA is still around, but it's gone. It's not gone, but it's still around. You could, like, I know the chairman, or the president, cool guy. But like, yeah, I mean, Yeah. So the community center thing. By the way, so the community center thing is that every people do that. They go somewhere and they build a community center, and then what happens with the community center is that now you can get more land. You know, you can expand outward, but you want somewhere to expand outward from, and you also want somewhere that you can expand outward. You know, so that's why when I say land, it's like realistically speaking, you know, I tell y'all, like, if you want to be in a big seat, go read the books. Okay, and then, you know, implement the strategies, but don't, you know, like a lot of the thing with us is that a lot of us kind of just want to sit in the big seat, and it's like, why do you want to sit in the big seat? Real talk, you know, why? You know, like, you feel like black folk are losing, sure, but how are you going to make them win? Like, what is it that you want to build? You know, you know, Bit of Medicine. Shout out to Bit of Medicine. Also on the KWZ network. He says, that man is afraid of his handlers, to be honest. Yeah. Oh, damn. Okay. Real Black Gentleman says, community center, town hall, you know, and village square. And, you know, one of the things that I point out in the book, too, is that, you know, when I talk about building the Boko, you know, it's the Africans telling you to build the Boko. You know, African ancestors telling you, like, 400 years back, right? Or 500, 600 years, you know? They're telling you, got to build a community center. You got to build a community center. One of the things about UNIA is that they had Liberty Hall. And Liberty Hall was that community center, and they built thousands of those, you know, or hundreds of those. So it's just one of those things that humans do. And I'm telling you, these Jews around me, the Dominicans, like the sister was telling me about upstate New York, where these Dominicans showed up and they just built a community center. First thing they do is build a community center, and within years they're buying everything off of the black folk around them. You know, they're owning everything around the black folk to the point where this sister, her daughter marries a Dominican. You know, and the thing is that her daughter, and she was criticizing her own daughter because she was like, well, not regard to the Dominicans, but regarding to when they were going to get married, her daughter was like, she wanted to go to the white banquet hall. And the Dominicans were like, no, come to the Dominican banquet hall. And they did a whole, you know, they made a whole scene at the white banquet hall and then went back to their own banquet hall. You know? Because like they have the center, they have the community, they're meeting every week. You know, you want to be meeting every week. I mean, I appreciate y'all coming every week to hear from me, and that's a good thing. But I also want y'all to meet with your local community every week, once a week. That's what every other people are doing, and we do it with church, but we ain't doing nothing in the church, so it's stupid. And plus, you know, church is, you know, dumb, but whatever. All right. All right. EL says they conduct economic warfare on us because we have no economy to run to. Economic warfare is a step before a whole hot war. Yep. It says they're going to fire my black ass in a few. I need to work on my economics. Yeah. I mean, you know, shit. You know, you already know what it is, man. All right. Let's go to the next one. So that's Jussie Smollett. I was just tired of that motherfucker. Oh, this motherfucker. This is a pass me. I really shouldn't be showing y'all this. This is not even that serious compared to the other stuff. But this is a hoodie revolutionary. You will groan. I'm trying to tell y'all as black folk, just stay away from these kind of women. Black man, just stay away from these kind of women. And if you're a black woman like this, just let us know, you know?
I'm a grown up. I have 2 degrees. I'm a grown up. I have 2 degrees. I am an accomplished teacher. I am a reader. I'm a mom. I'm a thinker. I'm a scholar. I'm a wife, a sister, and I do all these things in one day. I also have depression and anxiety and ADHD. It has come to my attention that when I get home from a day where I am overworked, overwhelmed, overstressed, and overstimulated, the first thing I do is I put on my hoodie. Not because I am some sort of hooligan, not because I'm trying to hide my face, not because I'm disguising something, not because I have an AirPod in, not because of anything other than the fact that for me, an adult who is successful, right? Successful, I need this to help ground me, and it gives me a sense of safety and security. So the next time you or your school is making a decision to punish or check a student who is wearing a hoodie, please remember that for some of us, this piece of fabric is, the only consistent comfort that we have access to and the only thing that we can control in a given situation. If I need my hoodie to function, maybe your kids do too.
Yeah, so like I said, y'all, did y'all groan? I mean, I could just skip over this, but did y'all groan, or am I just like, am I tripping? Am I tripping, or did y'all groan? I am a human, an animal, and evolved. You know what I mean? Like, shut the fuck up! Like, if I need a hoodie to function, then maybe your kids do too. Like, oh, you know, and it's like, oh, like I got nothing against hoodies per se. I think Arthur Joe was talking about wearing a hoodie the other day, right? Like I got nothing against hoodies, but like, if I make a video like that, imagine me making a video. Well, you know, I sometimes, you know, wear a blanket and it helps me to function in society. And like, fucking weirdo. Anyway, AL says closed doors is correct or something though. I don't know what it has to do with. Learning Curve says, I am trying to figure out myself out. I'm lost. She gonna stay losing because that hoodie not gonna do nothing. Like it don't do nothing. Like what do you? I have this little hoodie. It's my magic blanket. Like shut the fuck. Like you a grown ass woman, a grown ass, and it's like you all worried about them. Like and it's like if you really so worried about if you worried about these kids so much, then just take them out of the public school system. Like damn. Anyway, motherfucker. Like damn, y'all. All right, so I think I got only 2 more left. That's good. We're making good time. This is Okay, Children into the Oven. I don't know what this is about, but let me see what this was. Okay, Children into the Oven. But that's a pass me, guys. Y'all gotta watch out for something like that. All right. Oh, yeah. Here's another one. So it says, so this is actually kind of related to the last one. So it says, the no device at school policy makes absolutely no sense. Can imagine your child leaves school, has challenges on the road, and you have no clue what's happening with them. You know, so I guess we got Arthur Joy here, so let's read him. He says, you're right, students need their devices as a teacher who also need classrooms that are free of devices. What would be the compromise? It would be nice if children were obedient and well-mannered enough to turn off their devices when in class. It would be nice. And then Swift emphasis on obedient, but what about collecting them at the beginning of class and then returning them at the end? Not too much. I don't know. Did Arthur Joy say something? Oh, someone said at the beginning of the school to be returned at close of school. Indeed, doing this at the start and each of class removes much needed class time. I would prefer that arrangement. In that situation, administrator rather than the teachers handling the duty, and as you say, it saves teachers class time. All right, but anyway, so why did I put this out then? It's like this. I want y'all to understand this. Obeying school policy, and of course, you know, I shouldn't be joking about kidnapping either, right? But that's me right now. Obeying school policies is half of why kids end up with missing organs on top of being missing. You know? I think, and I'm not necessarily an advocate of devices in school, or like I'm not really an advocate of public school system, period, honestly. But what I would say is this: if your kid, because essentially these phones are tracking devices, right? If your kid loses their tracking device, then they can't be tracked. And the thing is this: that what kids have that a lot of us underappreciate is they have fresh organs. They have fresh organs. Not just that, they have an ability to get coltan out of mines. Or they cannot fight adults and will listen to adults who feed them and beat them. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to let y'all know that there are people who like your child's organs and your child's and your child's labor. There are people that like that. Now, I'm not one of them. I don't want you, like again, me personally, I can't do anything with no child's organs. Okay? I don't think there's going to be a day when I would need another child's organs. Right? And I can't, and I don't got an industry right now for your child's labor. But I'll tell you this right now, a lot of people do. A lot of people do. You know, I tell y'all, when I first learned about Pan-Africanism, I was in college. And this brother from Break the Silence. So that make sure y'all know about Break the Silence. If y'all don't know, like if you look at my Twitter history, the first people I followed was the Break the Silence people. But that's basically there's the Congolese, you know, the reason why I talk about Congo all the time is the Congolese mining situation. There was a genocide there, and from the Belgian Congo and all that kind of stuff, and Leopold and them, and I think after that as well. And Break the Silence is basically just trying to let people know there's people dying, or the people had died there, and gotta increase the refugee situation. And of course, the brother, told me to read some books and all that kind of stuff, and told me about Pan-Africanism. I was like, what? Interesting, Before he spoke, though, there was a sister who came on, and she was telling us about child trafficking, child sex trafficking. And she was like, in America, it's really mostly white kids being sex trafficked, right? And politicians were paying to have sex with white kids. You know what I mean? Because she was a black sex, she was a black girl who was trafficked, but she was like, it was mostly white folk around her. From her estimation. Now, of course, she could have been a black kid who was kept separate. Who knows? But a lot of these politicians, she was like, the people who could afford, $400 a night were not the regular working class folk. You understand? People who could afford to sleep with a kid for $300 to $400 were not the working class folk. But there were people who could afford it. And those were the politicians and the business leaders and all that kind of stuff, right? But basically, the reason why I'm pointing this out to you is that this is the reality of the freaking human condition. The reality of the society that you're in is that people want your kids. Now, me personally, I think that one of the most important things you should do is try to make sure that your kids are safe. If you're going to give your kids to anybody, you should make sure that it's safe, make sure that it's accountable, and make sure that if you as an adult can track them. Now, if the thing is saying to no devices at school, right, and your kids are always missing, and I don't retweet that stuff. I'll tell y'all right now. I don't retweet it, but I see y'all retweeting it where it's like, hey, this kid's missing. Hey, my cousin's missing, and I'll never say the day, right? If you got to put two and two together. If your kids are always missing, and y'all don't have no devices, and y'all don't have no weapons, and y'all don't have no... But of course, public food system, I'm just going to tell you like it is. Now, I see nobody, there was no engagement on this tweet, but it is what it is. Let me see. You can view the thing. 190 impressions, 0 engagement. You already know. 0 new followers from that. They were just like, this motherfucker talking about missing kids. I see y'all. But I'm just telling you like an IS is. I'll tell you like an IS is. I don't care. I'm a little controversial. I ain't gonna hold y'all. But it is what it is. Tanzan was saying the constant groaning, learning curses, that's basically what she said, trying to program the kids. How do you give the kids some loser shit, you might need your hoodie to function. Do you want your hoodie to function? Like, no, I don't need no fucking hoodie to function. I'm in a fucking white society. I'm in a white community. Get me out of this fucking white world. Well, there's nothing you could change about that. What you could change is your outfit. And you wear a hoodie. But nobody should criminalize you because you're wearing a hoodie. And you might just like, ugh. Anyway. Tanzan cousin growing. I know, it was just like, I couldn't. The whispering, the damn whispering. Like, why are you whispering to us? Well, like, you're in your fucking house. Like, you're trying to tell us something, and it's, well, I have ADHD, and I'm an animal. I'm an evolved amoeba. Fucking weirdo. Altazard says, Tanzan asks if I said fresh organs. Yeah, look, I'm not looking for your organs, but there are people who are looking for your organs. You understand? There's like a medical, there's a medical urgency. If you get, if something happens to you, or like, let's say you fall down and sick because your heart gave in, right? What you could use is the new heart. You know, like the heart, like yeah, these white folk want to live forever. Like y'all not killing them. So they don't like they expect to reach old age and then some. You know, there was Muta Baruka actually put up this this tweet where he said that there was somebody recently died from a complication resulting from him having a pig transplant, a pig heart transplant. You know, like maybe like 2 months later after the pig heart transplant. You know, but that's like people are really serious about replacing their own organs with younger, more vibrant organs. It's not a joke. And the thing is that if you walk around with fresh organs, you know, they want them. Like these white people don't look at you as their equal. They don't look at you as another human being. They don't look at you as they don't look at you that way. They see you and they say, what can I get from this person? Or what's the value of this individual? And a lot of us, to them, are more valuable dead than alive. And that's a position that like it's like if you're a revolutionary, real talk, you're better dead than alive to the people in power. You know? Like Lumumba and Mobutu. Mobutu looks at Lumumba and says, Lumumba's better dead than alive. Mobutu was rich after that. When he was with Lumumba, he was probably broke woke. You know? Arthur George says that piece of fabric is giving the consistent comfort that we can count on. Yeah. As a teacher, I fucking groaned. It's sad that this is the black representation that some of our students have. Yeah. Derek Excuse says, there's white folk getting on airplanes with peacocks and all kinds of animals, so I don't have a problem with hoodies. Yeah. I mean, but they're airplanes. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Y'all see that video? It's like this fake video of this woman nursing a cat on a fucking plane. It was the weirdest shit in the world. But it was fake though. It was fake. But it was pretty funny. All right. Other says it's true. Kids come into the class and want to hide. Hiding isn't a solution to any of their problems. Yeah. Tanzan says, did you say fresh thing? Other says most of the students who wear hoodies don't do their assignments. My anecdotal evidence. Yeah, they're busy dealing with the ADHD. A bit of medicine says, "Oh, that transplant patient died. Interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, what are you doing with a pig heart? But I mean, like, hearts is a serious business, you know. Like they were like, shit, we might need to kill less black folk, but nah. Real Black Gentleman says GMO pork heart transplant. Yeah. Tanzan says some people want to kill themselves, others want to live forever. Yeah. And it's like, look, the people who want to live forever want you to kill yourself. You understand? Like that make it easy for them. But yeah, the organs in your body are, like, if nothing else, they're worth a lot, you know? And if you're not laboring for them and you're in their community, they're like, why are you here? Now, you might, from your perspective, be like, I'm here, I'm just trying to figure out things, I'm trying to just get my life together, blah, blah. But if you're the ruling class of this country, you're not really, you don't care about those stories, you don't give a shit. And if it means the difference between you living, yeah, you're probably going to take somebody's organ, whether they're living or dead. You know? And that's just like, we have to get out of this, what is this universal ethic? There's no universal ethic. There's only humans. And humans do things. But Real Black Gentleman says he caught the itis. Yeah, he caught the long itis. He took a nap. He took a damn nap. But anyway, so this is the last one I want to do. This is new sitcom Kool-Aid, and this is the Nevolutionary section. I'm gonna have to edit this so I can tell y'all what Nevolutionaries mean and all that kind of stuff. But this is a new sitcom, so this is what I want to say. This is why I'm tired of black folk complaining all the damn time, and this is something that we complain about. And I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't complain about it too, but I'm not gonna go on the internet and complain to y'all. This is a image. It goes, and this is I got no problem with people who follow me. So this brother follows me, so I ain't got no problem with him. But it goes Hollywood's new ingredient to every black sitcom. And it's just, the sitcom, they're looking at the sitcom, and then the kids is porn and gay. They porn and gay. And I don't know what this is a reference to, because I try not to, whatever, but I'm guessing it's a reference to Bel-Air. I heard that Bel-Air was like a reboot of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right? And I'm guessing this thing. But here's my issue with black folk, the Nevolutionaries in particular, is that You watching it. You know, like you watching it. It's like if you on a adult website, right? If you're on an adult website, there's heterosexual love, or there's normal sex, if you will, or there's whatever. But then there's also gay sex, right? But most adults just don't go to the gay sex area. You know, like if you on an adult site, you just not go and click on the gay stuff and tranny stuff, and it might be increasing, and you might have to navigate a little more to not see it, but you just don't do it. You know, if anything, you just go back to the reruns. You know, you go back to the classics you grew up on. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. You go to your favorite actress and you see where she's with a black guy, and you just you rewatch it, or you see her in other scenes or whatever. Some of these motherfuckers just go out and watch the gay shit. Like, oh gosh, man, what can I do? I can't even avoid it. It's like, yeah, motherfucker, you can, or just stop going to that motherfucking website. Like, it's no longer for you. You know? And the thing is this, why I say that is because, you know, there's two ways to vote. There's voting with your hands and voting with your feet. Okay? Yeah, voting with your hands, you know, casting your ballot, and voting with your feet, you know? Or even like I say, voting with your mouth, you know, your opinion. But reality is this, you gotta vote with your feet. The thing with this is that, or with the other image is this, that if you're gonna still watch the black show, if you're gonna still watch the black sitcom after they done put the poison in, and they already had poison in the show already. Well, I don't know about Fresh Prince per se, but you know, they already had the poison in a lot of the black sitcoms, right? But if you're gonna watch it after they put the poison in it, right? Then they just improved their market. Then it was smart for them to do it. You know, if the blacks are gonna watch it and the gays are gonna watch it, right? Then that's a bigger market. The blacks and the gays. See, if they do something to it and the blacks stop watching it, but the gays watch it, now it's a smaller market. Well, it depends on how many gays there are of the white America, but if you're talking about black gays versus blacks, period, you done cut out the market. But if you expanded the market and if you are part of the expansion of the market, if you stay in the market, then you done fucked up. So this is the sister. I shouldn't even say sister, but this is a lady. She goes, she was in Forbes 30 under 30. She says, all right, Bel Air is well done. A reboot shouldn't be a mimicry, but an homage and an evolution. It's a different show, but the roots of tenderness and family are clear. The spirit is there. Also, I love its nuanced portrayal of black masculinity. Y'all understand? And look, I wasn't even looking for this stuff. Y'all up here promoting. This woman, what does she have? 122,000 followers. Okay? And for comparison, I got 3,000. Right? This is 122,000. That's, yeah. You guys get like 40 times my following. And she just says she's promoting this video with a nuanced portrayal of black masculinity. And y'all going along with it. You go along to get along. You're like, oh, damn, what are you doing to my sitcoms? You're ruining my sitcoms. Let me watch this shit. Here's this, another person. And I wasn't even looking for it. Dare I say it? Bel Air may have beaten the reboot curse. This is another person. Blue check. Oh, 5,000. Okay, that's not that many. But she's a writer, assistant, whatever. Yeah. The people are speaking. Time to send out some emails. I don't know what that means, but 46,000 likes. Yeah, Bel Air beat it. No, Bel Air beat it because it's an alternate twist to the original narrative. This is the show we should have seen back in the day, but we weren't ready for the real. So I've never watched it, but that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. I never watched it. And some of y'all go by the whole mentality, well, if you never saw it, if you never had it, how could you do it? You know, how could you say anything about it? I don't need to say anything about it. I live my life for the liberation of our people, or for the creation of our African nation. That's what my life's about. It's not about critiquing media. What you want? So again, you know, you there, Hollywood's new ingredients. Yeah, if you watching it, who gives a shit? Like if that's all you got, who gives a shit? If you worried about this, like come on. You know? Like, come on. Like, who gives a shit at this point? You know? But anyway, now when I put that up, I'm just saying this is an evolutionary in the sense that, you know, we just watching the shit all the damn time. And it's just like, yeah, okay, who cares? Tanzan says the suicidal should team up with the homicidal. Suicidal should team up with the homicidal. I mean, you know. Bit of Medicine said this is a confessional now. I don't know what happened. I missed it. EL says the classics. All the droids laughing. I don't know what y'all laughing about. I missed it. What happened? All right, so Oliver says the other day I was remembering the campaign to get people to think ass eating was a norm. All right, I don't know why I read that out loud. And I was using tissue to distance myself from the feces coming out of my... All right, people are lost. Now, y'all got to warn me before, you know, WB, Warner Brother, before you start talking about that. But, wait, what was the confession? The part about the porn or the part about this, this gay, the sitcom thing? But, yeah, I mean, yeah, Real Black Gentleman's like, I don't watch TV. Exactly, like, I don't know this Bel Air reboot. I wasn't watching, you know, none, like, I mean, I'm not saying I don't watch no media, you know? I'm not saying I don't consume any media. Of course I do, right? But I'm not going to whine if I'm consuming another man's media that he's left for his enemies. Or he left for the people that he don't give a fuck about. Or he left for people that he just want to profit off of. But anyway, that's actually the podcast for the week. I'm glad you guys joined me. I know some of them weren't as serious as the other ones. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I want y'all to realize that these are some problematic mentalities in the black community. I don't know who was the worst for the week. But I do want y'all to realize that we have a lot of work ahead of us. You know? And of course, we're in an environment where, you know, our people are going to constantly, like, just consume whatever this white boy puts out. And, you know, eventually, like, that campaign Arthur was talking about might just be, you know, like you know, a lot of y'all public school system. I mean, I'm not even going to, like, I'll tell y'all the truth, matter of fact. Yeah, matter of fact, I'll tell y'all the truth. In sixth grade, I remember this, you know, because I had a crush on this sister in middle school. She was sexually active before, you know, like, she was one of those early sisters who was sexually active, and she kind of had a crush on me. You know, she was thick in the right way, you know? Well, kind of the right way, but, you know, again, she was sexually active, and so, you know, you kind of, you know, if she was crushing on you, you kind of thought you could have something. Anyway, she writes me a letter. Like, she writes me a note, and she's like, do you want to toss my salad? And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means. Like, what does that mean? And she's like, you know, like, there wasn't no Google back then, and so it wasn't no look it up. But, you know, fast forward a couple of years later, I realized, toss my salad. Now, I didn't say yes. I didn't know what she was talking about. I didn't know what that meant. But a couple of years later, you realize she was talking about that ass eating. That's what toss my salad means. I think, I'm pretty sure. So I mean, yeah, I mean, like yeah, it's gonna be a norm. Like, if it's not already a norm, it's gonna be a norm. You know, it's possibly gonna be a norm. It's a norm somewhere. You know, is what I'm saying. Black Little Judge says, tell live vision requires my submission, and it's one-way media. Yep. Taz's still on the hoodie lady. Hoodie Whisperer is probably the lazy. Yeah, I mean, she was still something. That was weird. You know. Well, and I might, you know, I have ADHD. I have 2 PhDs. And shut the fuck up. All right. EL says, me neither. I don't watch TV. It's like paying for a pipeline for more white supremacy into my home. Yeah. That's pretty much it. He showed up, knife and fork and head. Oh, I thought it was a salad. You know, when she. Nah, pause. Anyway, paying $100 for cable this week is fuck. Yeah, I know, right? Them cable bills is high as a motherfucker. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I don't pay that shit, and I got some money to burn now. But all right, family. Appreciate everybody for coming through. Hope y'all enjoyed. And hopefully I can hear from y'all next week. But until then, of course, Samuel Hotep, Uncle Job Sadeb Neb. I'm in my aunt, do our nature. But actually, let me stop and give y'all a personal thanks, which is, of course, Real Black Gentleman, Bitter Medicine Podcast, EL, Tanzan. EL just said, I was laughing because you referred to some point as the classic. You already know, some of them was classic. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, I'm just saying, just go where you know. You know, that's really like a philosophy of this world. Just go where you know. Anyway, Arthur tells you, Arthur was here, so that's great. Of course, let's keep scrolling up. Derek Askew was here, so shout out to Derek. Learning Curve was here. Always appreciate Learning Curve. Make sure y'all subscribe to her channel, as well as Bitter Medicine, of course, the Harsh Reality Podcast. EL is here. I already said that, but, you know, shout out again. Let's keep going. Lero was here. Lero doesn't like the term broke woke, but, you know, the consensus is, come on, let's talk about it. Afro Jam was here, so shout out to Afro Jam. Keter was here. Shout out to Keter. Keter's good people. Keter's also on the Discord, so you guys check out the Discord and have some conversations with us. Let's see. Wow, this is a lot of conversation this week. David was here. Shout out to David. David was here to talk about, make sure you guys check out the Honda Heavy Industries. Check out a lot of these South Korean, or a lot of these Asian companies, a lot of companies in general, you know, a lot of corporations in general. Understand that a lot of these African colonies started off as corporations, started off as businesses meant to extract resources and sell them back to the West. And of course, they're still extracting resources and selling them to the West, but you have to figure out how can we create corporations that develop our people. How do we do that? You know, that's one of the, I mean, it's not something you got to figure out per se. I'm like I said, go read the books and figure it out that way. But yeah, like realistically speaking, we have to be focused on that kind of stuff. Marcus McGee is here. Marcus McGee is having some second thoughts about America, so we did second thoughts about the West, so we did our job. Kofi's here. Kofi, first one to defend the broke woke thing. Tecum, to go against the broke woke thing. Tecum, shout out to Tecum. Of course, let's keep going. Let's see who else. Actually, that actually might be it. But yeah, thanks family for coming through, spending your Sunday with me. I'm glad you wasn't in church, but yeah, this was the worship for the week, and I'll hear from y'all next week. Shem Hotep.